Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Appreciate you joining us. And a fine lawn maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming. That is free, always. Don't miss anything. But if you do, it's all right. All 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes and our own audio vault. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. This hour, Mike Barton Jr. joins us. We'll talk about his thoughts on being named the head coach, obviously, and things he's going to do different, or at least I'll ask him about. Things he's going to do different than his dad and why he's his own man and all that stuff that a lot of people are kicking around this time of year and with the recent news. So a lot of you want to hear that. Hang in. It will begin in about, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, somewhere in there. We'll break early here. The end of this hour is the end of the JCS portion of today's show. We'll slide right into Seminole headlines. Got both the boys in studio today, and we have our own thoughts on that along with headliner questions. So you're set from 3 to 6, 1 hour here at JCS, 2 of Seminole headlines, and we move it on down the road. You get a respite today, buddy. You're feeling pretty good about yeah, I know you can't talk in details about anything just yet, but jury duty's going well. You get a day off, go back tomorrow, right?
That is correct. Yeah, I will be reporting tomorrow, so you won't hear from me. No. I could be in deliberations into the night. Who knows? I could be done by noon, though. I just don't know. There might even be some sort of thing that I get a phone call and say, don't worry about it. It's all set.
Is that how that works? You could get a phone call tomorrow saying we're good to go. There's been a deal made. I think that's what I remember them telling me the last time I was there. Sometimes deals get made. In fact, frequently deals get made. And that if you're part of that, even though I think you're probably interested in doing your civic duty, it's nice to get that call telling you don't have to come back.
Yeah, we'll find out. Since I can't discuss anything about the trial.
No. But you're not in trouble for saying you're on jury duty.
No, not at all. Yeah. I can't discuss anything about it. But, if they call me and they say it's off, I can't discuss anything about it anyway. So I'll see you on Thursday.
Oh, man. What I do wonder is, and what I didn't know until you told me yesterday, and I find this fascinating. We'll move on to the sports in a moment. I think this is very fascinating. Based on the percentages that you gave me that I think was relayed to you by either an attorney or somebody in this process.
An elected official, yes.
Yeah. You're supposed to be selected or picked for potentially to be in jury duty once every couple of years?
Every couple of years or so, your name should come up. In Leon County, if you're a resident
of
Leon.
Think about that, man. I mean, that is crazy. I've only had it happen twice. I've been here since 91.
I believe the number they floated out was 280,000 people, not including college students, because they don't change their county of residence in the state of Florida. At least most of them do not.
That's correct.
But what I also was told was that there was an audit of the process to see whether or not, it was weighted incorrectly or whatever.
Yeah.
And after a year, they came to the conclusion the algorithms are solid, but randomness is randomness. You can flip a coin 16 times and it comes up heads 16 times. It could happen because the odds never change. The only thing is if you perform your civic duty, then you are excused for a year before you're thrown back into, the random generator, so to speak.
Well, it just I should be filled with doom and gloom, I suppose, because that means I am really definitely overdue in a big, big way to be called back.
It's a fascinating process, to keep it general. It's a fascinating process. We'll see what comes of all of it.
All right, so this is a short and awkward open because really the crux of the hour is going to be my interview with Mike Barton Jr., and we'll have a chance to react to it afterwards. I thought yesterday's press conference went about as well as it could go. I don't think that is going to be his setting, his ideal setting. He's not a guy that likes to get in front of a lot of people and have these conversations. He can be a little gruff. So the areas in which Junior will have to perhaps grow more into being his father is sort of the ability to be a little bit more diplomatic on occasion. Other than that, though, I thought he did just fine.
I don't know that there are many coaches in Division I college sports who will be as blunt as he will, and I love it, and I think it's great.
Oh, you and I really love it. Any of us who've ever had to interview players or coaches for a living or extract information from them that helps make our job easier, actually, and or relay information to the fans who either subscribe to a website or listen to a show. you want guys to be candid. I understand there are certain company secrets you keep, and there are things you keep in a locker room or a clubhouse, but you just want guys to be able to be open and honest and answer questions the best they can, understanding all those dynamics. And you're right. I think that is something we're going to enjoy, is straightforward. We stunk today. We were great today. This kid's not playing well. Now, he'll be careful about protecting his players, but yeah, when they fail, he's going to talk about that openly. When they succeed, he'll talk about that openly. And I think you'll get honest, transparent answers as long as the questions are good.
I was texting with a media member yesterday who's at the press conference after I watched the entirety of it. And, I said, I really enjoyed watching Meat tap dance back and forth between being full of dry humor and maybe a little terse with the athletic director about budgets. And David, I'd very much appreciate if you would do that. And then he moves on to the next point. You're like, okay, my man is he's going to lay it on thick a little bit with the dry humor. That's fine. I don't mean this in a bad way. I really don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I think baseball is just small time enough that you can get away with a lot of that versus football where you would ruffle a lot of feathers. It's a baseball press conference at the end of the day. It's not the end of the world. As long as you treat the boosters with respect, the university athletic director. Them. Well, you know what I mean? And I don't mean you treat them with a flowery level of diplomacy. Yeah. That kind of thing that you shake the hands and you kiss the babies. Otherwise, let's just play ball. And that's clearly what he's about.
Well, and I think having forward-thinking ideas of ways to raise money and to get people to give and to be back involved within the program. Certainly he's going to have to tap some former ex-players. There are some pretty high-profile ones that are either still in the majors or fresh out of it that we can maybe get some money from and move forward. These are all important elements of success because, to me, in-game decision-making is not something I'm concerned about. That's not an aspect of the hire that I ever thought about. He knows the game of baseball. Most people at this level get to this point. You have to know the game of baseball, and you have to know it inside and out. And the truth be told, as I've said over the years on this show many times, relative to us or Major League Baseball or anything else, baseball coach and or manager in the big leagues is really, for the money, about as good as you can get it because you don't have to do a whole hell of a lot in game that requires, mental level ability.
Yeah.
It's much more difficult to be a head football coach, for example.
Agreed, but at this level, I do think managing, and I'm not trying to do it to
personalities matters.
Managing
Clubhouse
emotions
matters. Yeah.
Managing emotions of a young person who's only discovering themselves. Yeah. That's an important deal. And I would say this, I'll be very interested to see if we lose a few in a row, which baseball where you're going to. How do kids respond? Because he's going to be tough on them. And he even said that yesterday. He said he's a pessimist by nature. We know that because in the preseason interviews, he'll tell you the truth about things. It's good to know where you stand, but if you've got to help a player and you have to put an arm around him, is he going to have an assistant who does that? Is he capable of doing that? I do want to see how we respond to adversity because this is a hard-nosed coach now. He's not going to sit back and be patient about things.
I hope we get more fights. That's what I want, more fights.
I think if it was allowed in the NCAA, we have the head coach now who might start one or two.
Start throwing at people again. Yeah. Old Nick Stocks throwing at jokers. That's what's going to happen around here. I love it. We'll talk to Mike Martin Jr. in a moment. Stay with us. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
And they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
What are Bojangles Chicken Supremes?
They're bold, craveable chicken tenders. Here's what our customers have to say about them.
You can't beat Bojangles Chicken Supremes.
Oh, I have to have Supremes every week.
I like that they have some kick.
It's this perfect explosion of flavors.
You can't find this anywhere else. It's out of this world.
Try our 3-piece Chicken Supremes dinner with a fixin' and a biscuit for $4.99 and get a free iced tea. Bojangles. It's Bo time.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Big at the plate and ablaze on the base paths. The 2019 Atlanta Braves are ready to defend their title as the season gets rolling.
And hit in the air to center field and crushed to straightaway center as far as you can go.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Winning Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass, and by Metro Deli in downtown Tallahassee. Tallahassee's unquestioned sports authority. 97.9 ESPN Radio. Tallahassee's sports monster. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I've been talking to him for years and introducing him as an assistant of some sort or another, the hitting coach, third base coach, lead recruiter, whatever you might want to call it. Now I have to call him head coach. It feels weird for me. It's got to be an incredible joy for my next guest, and that is Mike Martin Jr., the new head coach of Florida State baseball. What's up, mate?
How are you, Jeff? I got to admit, it has a nice little ring to it.
Doesn't it? How cool is that, man? I mean, we've known each other a real long time, and, I just say it just felt weird saying it, but I was happy for you. I'm not afraid to say that. I think it's a good hire. You don't need me to say that, but I am going to say it. And but what I do think is important is for you to kind of convey to us, that process a little bit. And then I have some questions for you. I know you addressed some of this yesterday at the press conference. I know how much you love press conferences. I'm sure you were overjoyed to put on that jacket and talk to the masses.
Yeah, minus the jacket. It was kind of funny. The guys were picking on me. That's the first time since my wedding that they've seen me in a suit. And that's not my most comfortable outfit, that's for sure. But, it was good to get the job and get some clarity. I'm back in my element now. I'm driving to Fort Myers, and I'd much rather do this than, sit in front of a bunch of reporters, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I got to ask you, because it's been a long road, man, both as you were a player and then obviously been an assistant for 22 years. And, you find yourself on the road a lot. I know that for a fact. You are a recruiting Jesse, and that's not going to change completely anyhow. But I know you didn't, and you said this yesterday, you didn't take anything for granted. Were you concerned during the process at all? Kind of take us through it. I know you interviewed. I know you had to apply for the job, and your dad was on you, hey, apply for the job and all that good stuff. But were you concerned at all that it could go a different way? And at what point did you think, I should have this job. I've always been preparing to do this job, but I may not get this job. Did that ever cross your mind?
Oh, sure. I was, especially when we were playing like crap. Then, familiarity.
In the town, I get asked a lot, well, okay, Jeff, you've always said that you thought Mike Martin Jr. would be the next head coach here and you thought it was a good hire, but you also said that you thought the reason for that was that he was different than his dad. How is he different than his dad, and what is he going to do differently? So now I'll turn around and ask you that question. How are you different? Everybody sees the game differently, has different ideas, and that changes over time. What's different about the way you'll handle Florida State baseball now as head coach than the way your dad did?
Well, the first thing, there's quite a few things. The mental side, the mental health of kids. I firmly believe that it's real. It's not something that we can handle as coaches. The old school guys always, I'm the coach, I'm the psychiatrist, I'm the mentor, everything. And I don't think that that's the case anymore. We've got to do better. We've got to have the resources and the kitty to get these guys in front of professionals to help them, because there is an awful lot that's going on in their noggin. The toughness, I think we can be tougher. I think we spoil them a little bit. That's going to change. We want to have the amenities and we want to show recruits what we're about, but there's going to be a little bit more edge to them, a little more chip on the shoulder, if you will. Kind of what I tried to state in the press conference yesterday is, I want them to take on my demeanor and personality, and So that's going to change. And, of course, I talked about the names on the back. I've never liked it. So we're going to snatch those off. And, there's moving dugouts, little things that really, don't matter. But it's just going to be a different, vibe, if you will. I'm all business. I don't joke around. We're going to do things right. We're going to do things hard. We're going to, treat everybody with respect. But it's just going to be a little bit more of a little, whatever you want to call it, a little more punch, a little more roughness, a little more. I want some stray cats. I want the street fighters. That's what I'm going to promote, and I'm going to do everything I can to distract them. And when I say distract them, I'm talking about during practice.
Sure.
And really put the pressure on them so that when we have those big moments, I think we'll be more prepared.
Speaking of recruiting, as you begin to shape this program and bring in guys that go on this journey with you here, this will be the first class that, as a head coach, you're able to bring in. This has had to have been a brutal situation. Now, listen, we can talk about what could have been done or to help mitigate some of the circumstances, but the bottom line is this could not have been easy for you as a guy trying to recruit players to a program to have the program be in limbo. And I got to imagine that's going to affect this next class. I know that in this sense, you can be more optimistic. Florida State's Florida State. You'll get some guys based on that alone, and now you can be relieved to tell them who their head coach is going to be. But how far behind are we?
Yeah, it's not ideal. The 19 class, which is on campus now, they're in summer school. Again, that was good. The 20 class, and this is what's weird, is the 20 class was, I couldn't convince them, to stay with me, to hang in there. The 21s and 22s were right on schedule. Everything's good with that. But I'm going to probably do a stopgap because there's the 20s. There's not a whole lot left. When I say a stopgap, you fill those spots with junior college guys. We're really going to hit the JCs in this 20 class, and again, filter them through. They play 1 year and hopefully sign professionally, and then you're back on schedule. Because I do like to develop guys. I want to get them out of high school if possible, but the junior college route is a good way to, fill your needs.
What's the process for you? What's it look like for us of hiring your staff, figuring out your staff?
Yeah, there's so many things that you have to do through HR and open the position. And again, I'm almost at Fort Myers now, and I'll be talking to a lot of guys down here. It's a big tournament, and I'm going to find guys that think and act and believe in what I believe. And if that's a Florida State guy, I like that. I think it means more. I like to think that most people are that way. Their alma mater means a little bit more to them. Doesn't mean they had to have played there or anything like that. But I want guys that work hard and have great personalities and can, relate and recruit their butt off.
As you go through that process and you bring in guys that mirror those same principles and coach them up the way that you want to, I know you had a chance to kind of look back, and yesterday you did it. You looked at all the coaches that you were influenced by. I thought it was a nice touch in the press conference because at the end of the day, we were all shaped by these coaches. You thanked all of your old coaches and friends and family. Have you had a chance to talk to all those guys? How many of those old coaches have you been able to reach out to and kind of talk and share in the moment?
Yeah, I really haven't with the coaches. I left out Ray Tanner. I totally kicked that because I played for him one summer and he, made a difference. And but yeah, I haven't spoken with him in years. But you know how it is. Those guys, your first, second dad, if you will. They definitely made an impact, and I wanted to thank them for it. That second guy, boy, my high school coach, he was mean as a snake, but I love him. He was exactly what us pretty boys at McClay High School, that's what we needed.
So are you going to be the mean as a snake guy and find a good cop? What do you...
No. Again, it'll be balanced. There'll be, guys that are, however you want to say it, more joking. I'm not good at joking around, but the main thing is they're gonna know exactly what's expected of them, and we're not gonna be afraid of somebody's. If it's effort or attitude, it's like I pulled this summer kid that we had. I said, fellas, you'll be fine. This place will give you everything you ever dreamed of. But if we ever have to coach effort or attitude, we got a real problem, and that's part of the warfare. living's established, and we're not going to change that.
How difficult will it be? And I know this might be, you got to dance around it a little bit here, and I'm sensitive to the question, so I understand if you take some time here. But I have to tell you, Mike, and you've been telling me this for a while, and it's only because you care and you're passionate and you want Florida State to succeed. But I really didn't realize to the extent until I went to LSU and watched that series. And I went around a little bit this year. I've seen some of the other facilities, even within the ACC and certainly the SEC. Florida State, which used to be at the cutting edge and preeminent in college baseball with facilities and everything, is certainly not that anymore. It's not terrible by any stretch, but it's not nearly where some of these other programs are from an infrastructure standpoint. You're tasked with beating those teams. You have to keep the same success rates you had before in order to retain the job down the line. You want to get back to Omaha and win a championship. How patient, how difficult will it be for you to be patient as we sort of try to catch up, and can we?
We can, and we will. I firmly believe that. It doesn't have to be, right now. I don't believe that. Yes, we're getting close, whether that's 2, 4, 7 years. I mean, yeah, we need to start really looking at some things. But I just want to be able to continue to provide the amenities of, the charter flights and the meals and keeping up with our place. And again, we're going to get in front of boosters and hopefully raise money. And, if Buster wants to give, that would be awesome, to kind of get the thing going. I don't think we're going to need to have a car wash to raise money for him. So we need a lead gift, somebody like that to get it going. And I think it will happen.
Well, it's good to hear, because it's one of the things that I think is so necessary that when you look at this, and you would say this too, I believe. I mean, obviously you have your own philosophies on how to play the game and how to teach the game, but most baseball coaches that reach an elite level like you have, or certainly in the majors, they all know pretty much the same things. It's what they incorporate and what they don't, and then they create a culture and all these other things. But if you don't have the basic amenities and the basic things that draw recruits, it's very difficult to win out in those one-on-one battles for the best players in the country.
Yeah, you can in this business, though, you can work a little harder. I mean, although there's sitting in Miami, but Miami had a dump for years.
Right.
And they did fine. Again, they're right there in the middle of all sorts of baseball, but, there's plenty of places. Florida's done well. Their place is a dump. It's just, you got to work a little bit harder and sell them on, how you're going to make them better. That's the number one thing. And I told the president and, David, I said, look, these kids want to know how they can achieve their dream. And that is to get paid to play baseball. And that's the number one thing. All the sticks and bricks and all that, great. But what can you do to make me, a professional baseball player? And, we can sell that and continue doing it and be more out in front of them, us watching them play, and they love that stuff and feeling the love, and we'll be okay.
Meet, in terms of actually playing the game of baseball, what's different about your views than your father's? What is it you want to implement that's different than what your father believed in?
Well, he's back in the day, he was very aggressive, on the base pass, and then Ron Frazier and kind of Ron Polk was the same way. Those guys, don't worry. You can't give up an out, And again, I'm not saying we're going to bunt. We're going to drag bunt a heck of a lot more. I want to run more. I want to take third base, go first to third in situations. Yes, you got to have the horses and the clientele to do it. But I want to play faster. I want guys working tempo-wise on the mound faster. I want to play, just a little bit more zest, if you will. And we'll definitely do that.
When you talked about when you talked about you're never again going to take a fastball middle in, tell me what that meant. I know what it means on the surface. Tell me what it meant from a philosophical standpoint.
Yeah, I don't know if I said in. If they stick one in there, that's different, and they stick one on the outside part. But it's just it was allowed too much, in my opinion, to a ball in the middle third of the plate, too often, in which, I was frustrated as can be. And sure, there's times in which it turned into a walk or the guy got a knock or what have you. But I think that's, something that's going to, it's not, I don't think, I know, because I'm going to implement it. And, these guys may have the returning guys may have a little bit of a shock to the system in the fall, but that I'm going to teach them that at bat's over. You do it, and that's it. Next hitter, because I'm not going to sit there and take fastballs, because you're greatly decreasing your chances of putting together a good AB. A good AB can be a smashed first pitch fastball. It can be a an 0-1 and a 1-0, whatever. But you got to increase your chances of making solid contact in the middle part of the plate where it's at.
You mentioned a few weeks back, I think you were talking to Corey Clark, and you had said that you were going to implement some of the aspects that you've seen O'Sullivan, amongst other coaches, it's not just him, in regards to the way that they recruit and utilize pro scouts. Can you explain that to the layman? Can you explain that to people who don't know what you meant by that?
Yeah, I would like to hire someone from the pro side. When you can widen the net, because they're out, constantly watching ball games, and and they see younger kids, or maybe it's a late bloomer, whoever it may be. We've got to do better, with our relationship with the pro guys, and I think you can find a pro guy who's got some background in teaching and coaching, and would fill that spot very well. I want a baseball guy, but I also want to get stronger in that pro side community and be more of a first call than an afterthought, and I think it'll really help.
Lastly, you're not overly sentimental with these things. You tend to be focused on the work at hand and what's next. I was curious as I watched meet the final ABs and the final moments of your dad's career out in Omaha. It was fitting that it ended in Omaha. I know it didn't end the way you wanted it to with the national championship run, but given the way the team had played for much of the year, I thought going back to Omaha was a hell of an accomplishment. Did you have a moment to slow things down and kind of look at that one more time and take it all in? And I don't want you to go, you don't have to reveal your innermost thoughts, but I am curious if you were able to kind of soak that in and reflect a little bit. It's got to be weird. You're his son, so you have the relationship of father-son, but also he's a lifelong baseball man, and you're a lifelong baseball man, and you were watching a career come to a close with a good opportunity for your career as a head coach to begin. Must have been an interesting time for you out in Omaha.
Yeah, and I'm such a prick that I literally haven't. I'm just still grouchy, and I haven't had a chance to really sit and thank him for everything. We go into a dead period July 4th, so I'm planning on spending some time with him and Mom and my sisters, and I'll do it then. But I haven't thanked him. I haven't talked, reminisced or anything like that. There's work to be done, and again, I wish I was more like him, and I will be at some time. He's very similar to how I am back in his younger days, and one day I need to take a step back and definitely thank him, because he's done an awful lot for a lot of folks.
Well, I congratulate you, sir. We'll be talking a lot, and I know you're out there going to get players, so I won't keep you any longer in your efforts to do that. Congratulations on being named the head coach, and we'll talk again soon, buddy.
Sounds great, Jeff. Thank you.
All right, you take care. That's Mike Martin, Jr., now head coach, Florida State University, and I thought we did a good job of going over the many aspects of the job and things that he would do differently. I think it's an interesting situation he finds himself in that you get asked repeatedly why you're not your dad. And you probably, in that situation, almost feel an affront to that, because on the one hand, you'd like to say, my dad's a pretty good guy, did a lot of things for a lot of people, won a gazillion games, set records, represented Florida State in a way that all of us can be proud of. And on the other hand, you're right, I'm not him. I believe we should have been doing this, and this differently. And how do I say that without trashing his legacy? So it's a difficult. I thought that was probably one of the more difficult aspects of what yesterday represented in the press conference, and then getting the job and needing to show people that I'm different. It's not going to be the same old, same old. And oh, by the way, even if it were, there was a lot of good in that. They won a lot of games. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Hendrick. Find new adventures, find new roads, find a new car buying experience at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Save big at the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month. Get a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. That's right, up to $12,000 in savings. Find honest, trusted service right here on Tennessee Street or shop DaleJuniorChevy.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer insurance. See dealer for details.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how long have you been involved with athletics at JP2?
So I've been involved for 8 years as a coach. I was an assistant, and then 2 years as the girls basketball coach. And then I just completed my 5th year as the boys basketball coach. I also spent my junior and senior years as a student at JP2 in the early years of the school's beginning.
What does it say, though, about the culture of an institution that you graduate from there almost 15 years ago, but here you are still spending your time back at that school?
I think it says a lot. The fact that my wife didn't graduate from JP2, but we both felt drawn back to help in some way. And we weren't even living in Tallahassee, and we always had this thought of, man, it would be so neat if I could go back and help in some way. And when I was named the coach 5 years ago, it was very special, and people thought I was crazy when I said in 5 years we're going to win a state championship. Maybe even I thought I was a little crazy, and it was just so cool to see the program develop over these last 5 years. And we've seen that in many of the sports at JP2. We have so many committed coaches, so many committed teachers that really lay it all on the line day in and day out to try to provide a great atmosphere and a lifelong positive experience for these students in their high school years.
Coach, thanks for your time. For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Not a big summer guy. Too hot. Not a big winter guy either. Too cold. My favorite season? Safety season. Because it's every season, 24/7, 365. For all things safety, I trust Grainger. Grainger's safety experts have the safety solutions and expertise to help keep your facility safe and your people safer all year long. Seasons may change, but Grainger's always got your back. Call clickgrainger.com or stop by for all things safety. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Bill Cosby and O.J. Simpson made appearances on Twitter over the last couple of days. Bill Cosby pronouncing himself America's dad from prison, and O.J. Simpson, unbelievably, really, O.J. Simpson using a sentence that I couldn't believe was his welcome to Twitter.
He killed it.
For crying out loud.
What happened there?
Oh, my gosh.
What do you mean?
Just, too soon.
Oh. The juice.
Stan, what are your thoughts? Thank you. Uselessly.
The juice is loose.
Well, that's true. It is. He's got a lot of getting even to do, Stan. Oh. I mean, why is he threatening us?
Yeah, that was, wow. I mean, crazy. And then Stugatz took it to the next level.
That's right.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hope you enjoyed that. My talk with Mike Martin Jr. We'll probably, rerun it or something down the line. But I think we went over everything, or at least that I wanted to, regarding how he's different, things he'll do different, things he wants to implement. I do think that's an interesting question. I wondered how that was going to look going into yesterday's press conference, because I've had the opportunity over the years to talk with him about things that he would do differently. And even if it's just the two of us having a conversation about, I'll give you some backdrop. We don't hang out. I mean, I have, but we don't hang out. I can call him and ask a question for context on the show. I can say, why did we do this? And he'll give me an answer. Like if I have an issue with something we did on the base paths, pitching change, didn't pinch hit when I thought we should have, he's always been good about taking that call and me saying, well, I'm curious, why didn't we do this? And we might not come to an agreement. Not that he needs to, but my point would be, I would say, well, why wouldn't you have done this here? And over the years, he'd either say, well, you're wrong, and here's why, or he'd say, no, I thought about it, but wasn't my choice. So here's my point. I knew he differed with his dad about certain things, but how far do you push that? Whether it's a conversation I'm having with him in the moment and say, well, your dad was an idiot. I can't say that. That's crazy, and I don't want to say that. But, well, that's foolish. What an old way of thinking. Yes. You want me to bash my dad some more? I mean, what? You see what I'm saying? Like, What can you do? It's a tough situation. And so I knew going in yesterday that he has to show people repeatedly, I'm a different guy. I have a different philosophy. But you don't want to trash a man's legacy for winning 40 games every year he was here and going to Omaha 17 times and being the winningest coach of all time. It's tough.
This is the thing I was trying to dance around last week when we were talking about it on Friday, which was I think a lot of people assumed that his philosophies on everything were just adopted and rubber stamped because it's his dad that he's talking to. And so therefore you don't have to run it by somebody like you would a superior that, doesn't carry your DNA.
Right.
And what I was hinting at is that they don't agree on everything. You're the whispers over there, man.
No,
and there are some differences. But I'm trying to dance around that. And the best part of it is that guy doesn't dance around anything. Like nothing. He wastes no time. It would be a waste of his time. You could tell that's his attitude. Why would I take the extra 30 seconds to try and be nice about something rather than just say it? And that's why yesterday in the presser...
You got to be careful with that, though, now that you're a head coach.
Sure. I think there's a lesson to be learned down the line somewhere. I'm sure there'll be some post-game quotes after he's pissed off about the way the opposing team or manager... Well, there may be some confrontations in the press to come. I don't know. Maybe that's just me looking through a crystal ball. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just me guaranteeing that that's going to happen. He seems to be the personality, and I think he's going to do that intentionally.
Oh, there'll be times. I think so, yeah.
I mean, listen to what he's saying about he wants the edge. He's going to drum up some things and create some, not infighting within the clubhouse, but a rivalry or something along those lines. I think
push guys to an edge, yeah.
I think statements about Miami and Florida are coming. I think he's going to try and juice up that rivalry.
Kind of just did it.
Well, but he's also crediting them for succeeding while playing in a dump. But yes, he did call both of those places a dump.
Yeah.
The fans won't appreciate that very much.
But ours will.
Ours will.
It was fantastic.
Yes, he's going to get the blood going a little bit. And I just do appreciate that. But it did open my eyes a little bit. I knew that there was some infighting. But when that line about, middle in yesterday was spoken, I thought they were more in lockstep in terms of the hitting approach. I thought it was adopted completely, Mike Martin Jr.'s hitting approach, but apparently not.
No, it would be a point of emphasis, Tom. It's a question of a point of emphasis. It's that, you're free to teach kids this is how we approach hitting. You're free to tell them that this is what we're trying to do and why. But then Dad could say, that said, if I want to work the count, I want to work the count.
Yeah.
And now you got to stand down. We're going to work. You know what I mean?
Well, there's value in both.
Out of your shoes.
And I call that a good at bat.
And, oh, by the way, if you don't, in practice at the very least, your batting practice is over.
Yeah.
So, by the way, this is a very modern, forward-thinking way of viewing ABs and good ABs that result in outs. Because baseball results in a lot of outs. The old adage about Hall of Fame players succeeding 3 out of 10 times, et cetera, is proof of that. I mean, the game is built around failure, but you have to try to mitigate that failure by giving yourself the best opportunity to succeed, even if the result isn't what you had hoped for. If you have a good AB, you get more ABs. You stay in the lineup, and you're adhering to our approach. That is to say, making loud contact is the idea. You can't control where it goes after that. If I hit the ball on the button and it's right at the shortstop, it's right at the shortstop. Yeah. But I did what I needed to do in my at-bat. I got a good pitch to swing at, a good pitch to hit. I didn't show cowardice. I squared it up, and it went, unfortunately, to somebody. But, it's better to do that, get that pitch and let it ride, than to miss that pitch, take that pitch, and never get another good pitch to hit in the entire AB.
Well, and that's where I wish he was Carlos Beltran's coach in 06, first of all, with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Go ahead, let it ride,
Because
Carlos.
That's 83
right
and down the middle.
Yeah, got to let that one go, buddy.
Maybe I wouldn't have 20 years of heartbreak.
That might have been a long home run if you had let that go.
Well, he hit. That's what he did.
That's what he did, yeah.
Yeah, off the big Budweiser sign in right field. But, I said last week, I think if FSU fans would put down their swords for a moment, that, and the pitchforks and the torches for the Martin family, and they just listen to this guy, they'd realize that they're more similar than they think. They're more similar than I thought they were, though. I really am shocked to the degree that there was a difference in hitting philosophy. I really am. Because the modern approach, though, is to get on base.
Yeah, on-base percentage is a very big deal, yes.
Because it's one of the 3 true outcomes.
It's a non-out.
Correct.
Most importantly. Anytime you can produce a non-out, you're doing good things.
But he's talking about being aggressive on the base paths in a way that might not align completely with the major league thinking.
Well, perhaps. I think it's what you recruit to, though. So you'd be a fool to push it on the base path if you had a bunch of slow runners.
He did it. He did say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you're going to do that if you get guys that are real athletes, guys that can really go. Make them make a perfect throw. The kid from Michigan last night made a perfect throw at third base. You know what? That was probably not the time to test it when you're trailing late in the game like that and you need base runners and runs. That's a foolish decision. But in terms of making guys make throws like that, most people don't make throws like that in college baseball.
Yeah, in college. I think that's where probably his philosophy begins. If you're at the major league level.
They do make those throws.
And you got a guy like Bobby Abreu, right, who made a living on walks and home runs, 2 of the 3 true outcomes. You probably don't tell him to jump on a 1-0. You let him, do what he's going to do.
Does. Well, he's proven himself, though.
But in college, there are so many more factors at play. One is the fact that players aren't nearly as good, and so you have to force people's hands, and chances are, 10% of the time more, they're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
If you force a defense to make a play.
I think we're going to like the way they play. I do worry about what just happened to this upcoming class, though, because that was obliterated. He basically admitted it.
We've had some good JUCOs over the years, though.
Really good
You
JUCOs.
can poach. The problem is, it's like you burn the bridge twice as fast.
Yeah, you alienate those junior college coaches from whom you're poaching their best player. Those guys like to have success, too. It's really annoying when somebody from, another division walks in and goes, I'm going to take your starting first baseman who you projected to hit 24 home runs this year. You're probably going to lose some more games because of that. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
But it is how it works. It all rolls downhill.
Yeah, that's right. So that is how that works. And you can always make it up to them. There are ways, and coaches will apologize. Hey, listen, I got to come take your center fielder, man. My guy backed out on me. I'm up against it. It ain't going to be me. So I'm going to come get your center fielder. That's how that works.
And those coaches would understand the situation he's been in because they see him. Why? He's always on the damn road.
Well, and I think that was also revealing in that part of the interview that, look, he had to miss a ton of practices just to go out and recruit.
That was news to me.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of things. I've tried to lay this out there before that the program, here we go, I get to use one of my favorites, was not operating at peak efficiency. It couldn't be because of the situation we were in.
Well, if he wasn't running practices, who was?
Well, his dad still can really run practices. If you ever go out there and watch 11 run a practice, he's great at it. But it's still not, you don't have your full allotment of coaches. That's one thing 11 continued to do late into his career that I respected. I was going to say something else, but he's down on the field, Tom. He's down on the field and conducting practice.
As compared to
just saying,
perhaps a tower.
He's down on the field, Tom. He was conducting practice, and that was important. So he did a good job. But what my point would be, yeah, I mean, you're still down a coach.
That to this day, I'm not an outdoor hunter guy. I'm more like I'll do some golfing, of course, but I'll do a hike or some kayaking every once in a while. But I'm not a hunter. But when Jimbo first took over as the head man, he said, "That'd make a good deer stand." like in passing before he was. Somebody asked, it might have been Andrew Carter. He's like, "So you're going to use the tower?" He goes, "No."
Yeah.
Might make a good deer stand though.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was. We were dated. We were definitely dated. All right, Seminole headlines forthcoming. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a good one, and I hope you enjoyed that interview. We'll talk to you on Thursday. We both have tomorrow off. Tom and I do, taking that day. He's got good reason. I just feel like taking the day off.
I have civic duty, man.
You do. I don't. I'm gonna play golf. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, then. There we go. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work out of you, Matthew.
Yes. Well, I didn't know if we were doing probables or not, but let's let the civic duty of a Leon County resident.
Hey, convict him.
Whoa, no. I'm going to put the blindfold on.
No, you don't.
And do what I do.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Of course, I don't have any idea what the case is about. I just yelled convict him just to be an ass, or let him free. I don't know. Just whatever you think. The evidence will tell you where to go.
That's
Tom.
You're damn right.
That's how it works. The evidence. I've been on jury duty before. I don't go in there just, that's it, blank check, that's it, it's over.
You walk in, you flip a coin or something?
Yeah, no. Yeah. What'd be funny is that you should walk in to avoid jury duty by saying, I'm convicted him.
They give you ample opportunities, but, you're supposed to be honest.
I know. And that's why you're stuck in jury duty.
When these home dogs get lucky with dough, blow it on the rooster. The girls are smoking roll. You can't beat the
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fees. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Introducing Hardee's Charbroiled Double Deals for $2.49 each. Your choice of the double cheeseburger, the new bacon cheddar double, or backed by popular demand, the Hardee's Classic. They're double, the beef, triple, the options. You probably noticed the echo. It happens when we double, beef, and triple, the options with our Charbroiled Double deals for $2.49 each. It's kind of epic. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Double the meat is compared to the small cheeseburger. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Price may vary. Tax not included.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com. Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Come party every Friday night with live music at Pockets Pool and Pub. Check out the all-new Sizzlin' Summer Drink Special, including doubles for $1 more, Jaeger bombs for just $3, Y-bombs, and the Flaming Pockets Bomb for $5. Sharer Road off North Monroe. Why go home when you can go to Pockets?
Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. Save big on over 200 new Buick and GMC cars, trucks, and SUVs. We are professional grade. Dale Jr. Buick GMC.com.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Time now for your Atlanta Braves Minute. Brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey. Personal injury law is all they do.
Last night in Chicago, the Braves kicked off Game 1 of a 4-game series versus the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Julio Teheran was on the mound taking on John Lester, and both pitchers coming off of bad outings. For Julio Teheran, his bad luck would continue. John Lester was very good as he went 6 innings, giving up 0 earned runs and struck out 7. Meanwhile, for Julio Teheran, gave up a home run to Wilson Contreras in the 2nd, gave up another base hit in the 4th inning, and then he saw all 9 Cubs come to the plate in the 5th inning. 5 runs would score. He would not leave that inning. Biggest base hit for the Cubs came in that 5th inning when Anthony Rizzo came to the plate and delivered this base hit.
Here's the pitch to Rizzo. Swung on, line to left field. That'll get another run home. Riley has it on one hop. Schwarber comes across. 5-0 Chicago.
Braves would muster up 2 runs late thanks to a 2 RBI single out of Nick Markakis in the 6th and a solo homer by Dansby Swanson in the 8th, but in the end, not enough as the Cubs beat the Braves by a final score of 8-3. Braves back at it tonight, 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central with the first pitch. Lefty Max Fried on the mound looking for his 9th win of the year, and he takes on Adbert Alzolay, a right-hander. I'm Ben Ingram, and this has been your Atlanta Braves Radio Network update.
Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, presented by Capital City Bank, featuring ESPN Tallahassee's Jeff Cameron, WarChant.com's managing editor, Ira Schofel, and senior writer, Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines, 97.9 ESPN Radio begins now with my friends, Ira Schofel and Corey Clark from WarChant.com. This hour brought to you by our friends at Spirit. I'm starving. Spirit sounds perfect right now.
We should head over.
We should leave doing the show right now and go drink a liter of beer. Or what is it?
It's a yard.
It's a yard of beer.
100 ounces, a tower. It's a
tower of beer.
A liter wouldn't be. No,
a yard of beer.
Yeah, yard of beer and eat some delicious cheese sticks.
Took Brady cheese bites.
The cheese bites.
I took Brady and his buddy there for the first time a couple days ago after their basketball camp at Leonard Hamilton basketball camp. Actually.
Oh
yeah. He's got a buddy here?
Well, no, he met a buddy there.
Met a buddy at the camp.
Met a buddy at the camp. But he'd met him before. Anyway, it's one of Stephanie's friends' sons. Okay. Anyway.
Iris pinning you down early.
I know, geez. Literally getting the info.
Let's get some clarification here.
Brady's on Instagram. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so the mac and cheese bites, we don't talk about them enough. I think we talked about them a lot.
I think we have talked about them enough.
But it's been a year since we
they haven't changed. They're delicious, and they have always been.
But I don't even think we show our appreciation for them enough because those kids
you should get a shirt
after it. It was nuts. It's crazy how good. They're so good. They're
Plus,
the
you get
same.
a picture of the cheese
bites.
Yeah.
And really, when you've just had a fulfilling athletic day at the basketball court, Leonard Hamilton's camp,
by all means,
just
let's
wash
follow
down
it up
some-
with
Get some
cheese.
fried mac and cheese.
At that age, you can eat anything you
It
want.
doesn't matter. Yeah, sure.
doesn't make any difference.
So they're still really good. They still got the recipe down pat.
You the cool dad? Any brewskis?
No, I don't think
For
I
the
had a
boys?
brewski.
No.
Did you get the
well,
kids?
for them?
Did you get the
they
kids
had a
some
couple,
brews?
but
Yeah,
I wasn't
you
feeling it. I
weren't
just had,
feeling it
I
yesterday.
had some Diet Coke.
Just the kids.
Oh, and I walked into the bathroom right as Deckerhoff was counting down the 1999 national championship game. And Peter Tom Willis said, "I see you, Seminoles."
I had a good time at that game. That was
I
a
did
fun
too.
time. I really enjoyed New Orleans. I always do, but that was a fun time, and I was with my buddy Todd Van Dyke. We had a damn fine time.
And it's always a fun time at Spirit. Tennessee and Copeland.
There you go.
Way
Good
to
job,
bring that
Ira.
around. Well done, sir. He's the pro today.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's loose. Well, I mean, this is almost like an emergency session. We did get lucky. We had the extended time in Omaha, which, Corey, I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that drive,
right?
Let's go. Let's talk about the drive.
So I had Stephanie on the first leg.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say the first leg. She was out there the whole way. So we went and swung by, picked up Brady in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Shanna dropped him off. Not terrible. We watched the end of the Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Game 6 or Game 5? The end of the finals.
Toronto winning the championship.
We had Stephanie's phone going somewhere in, I don't know where.
Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere, really dark. So we were watching the end of that game. Stopped in Mount Vernon, Illinois to sleep.
Did
then
you?
another 6 or 7 hours to Omaha.
Did you get a lay of the land in Mount Vernon?
No,
Did you get a
not
chance
really.
to go out and
just
about
kind of
and
in and
see?
out. Just
Yeah,
kind of in and out.
yeah,
So
no
next
real
time,
chance,
I want to stop and
Sorry,
see some
Mount
things.
Vernon.
Not the Mount Vernon either. It's another one.
Definitely not the Mount Vernon.
And then hung out in Omaha for 4 or 5 days with Brady, which was fun.
Gets a little old.
It does.
It doesn't take long.
This event is it is cool for about 4 days.
So listen, I'm glad you're going to bring this
and
up.
you've been back almost a week, and they're still out there playing.
They're still out there playing. If you get to the championship,
And you were done a week ago.
I was thinking, Ira texted me that yesterday. Like you guys, or maybe Sunday. Like you guys could still be out there. And
I did it
I don't know
before.
how I could do. I don't know how to do. I don't know how people do it.
Well, I don't know either. I don't either, because here's the deal, and I get why ESPN does what they do. I mean, to listen to Ravitch and those guys talk, you'd think that they never want to leave. And they're ready to shoot themselves in the face. And they have been an hour after they arrived.
Yeah.
I mean, these people, ESPN employees always complain about having to go to Bristol.
Yeah.
You're going to spend 2 friggin' weeks in Omaha?
Here's the deal. I mean, they do a good job of hosting it, but it is still Omaha. You can't change that. It is still Omaha, Nebraska. No matter how much they embrace college baseball and make it their own and try to welcome everybody who has a like-minded love of the sport, doesn't mean that it's great to be there for any more than 24 hours. I mean, after a while, you're like, all right, well, I did some food in the zoo.
Go back to the zoo, I guess.
And,
We'll go see the gorillas again.
You know,
the gorillas are cool.
Yeah, there's a couple really nice places to eat here.
I waited in line 3 hours for a milkshake.
And it's not even that good. It's not. I've
Didn't do
had
that
it.
this time.
Well, it doesn't matter because it tastes like every other milkshake. It's a milkshake. So anyhow, here's the thing.
The Field of Dreams field, apparently is like 4 hours away.
Yeah.
So if we'd have been there, if Florida
You
State had
would've
beaten
done it,
Michigan,
yeah.
I'm like, number one, I would have to show Brady the movie because he hadn't seen it yet. And then I'm like, buddy, we are on our way.
Oh, I would have gone with
to
you.
the Field of Dreams.
because I've always wanted to go to that.
I do too, yeah.
But that said,
winning a national championship, I'm sure, would be awesome.
It's the only reason to be out there.
However, I mean,
no, they were going on. Like, so it's funny. Ravitch last night said, you know, it's hard to believe it's coming to an end. I started laughing.
Yeah, sure, Carl.
Yeah, I'm sure. You're like, sweet Jesus, thank God it's coming to an end. They go on and on about how it's like heaven. It's not. Omaha sucks. There's
cool.
not a lot
it's
there,
cool
man.
for the first 3 days.
The first few days you're there. It's a cool event.
But then it gets strung out.
It's also really cool the first time you do it.
Sure.
It digresses quickly. Like I've gone 3 times, 3 or 4. Anyhow, by the third time, I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know that I want to do this again.
If the team you're covering or following is not going to win a national title, which the odds are they're not, then I think the sweet spot is to go 1 and 2.
So
2 and 2 is almost too much.
Yeah, almost too much. One
the year
too many.
when they got bounced by Arizona.
Yeah,
you were out there for 8 days.
Yeah, that was just a little too much. He's ready to go.
I was out there for
1
more
and
than
2.
6, and
I mean,
by the 6th day, I was like, okay, I don't know. I'm done here. I'm about to leave. I'm about to drive to Chicago or something. I don't know what to do.
I mean,
the
bars close early. I mean, it's during the week.
Yep.
There's just nothing. I mean, it's just
you start turning to hard
drugs.
drugs.
Can we move it? Can Can we move it to Atlanta?
No, I think the city's not the issue.
It's part of the issue.
It's part of the issue.
Well, that's part of the issue, sure, but they do embrace it. Like you go to the Hilton after a game, and that place is really crowded.
Charlotte embraces the ACC championship. Who cares?
But it's so long. Like there's no reason. Michigan played one game in a week.
I know.
They beat Florida State on a Monday. Then they played Vanderbilt yesterday. In between that, they played one baseball game.
But their fans are hanging out in Omaha.
Well, no, they're flying in and out and having to come back, and it's impossible. It's just impossible.
No, it's
just
a toughie.
impossible.
It's a
Do
toughie
it like
to be
the
out there that
softball.
long. Yeah.
I know pitching arms are different in baseball and softball.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't really do that.
But you can, though. Maybe you can have some pitching depth. We're going to treat it like in the World Series, the real World Series.
Yeah, it's
play
4
every
out of
day.
7, but that's why the college. Listen, these truncated tournaments are not a great way to decide a national champion to begin with.
But they're
it's
really
their
fun
only option.
They're really fun ball games to watch in that.
But what I'm saying is, it's never been a good way to decide a champion.
I know,
it's the sport of
but
baseball. You ought not play a one-off or a double elimination. It ought to be 4 out of 7. You ought to have a long. We know all this.
Yeah, 13
but you can't
days,
do that.
12 days. Going a week and playing one game is preposterous.
Okay, well, I'm glad now. We're just kind of peeling back here a little bit of the curtain. And, like people will talk on and on for days about Omaha, about what an experience.
And it's cool.
If you've never been out there, you got to go. Okay.
Not really.
Yeah. I mean, you should go once.
If you're a baseball fan.
You better love the hell out of baseball.
Really love
because
it.
there's really nothing else you're going to be doing.
And like heat. If you like heat,
well,
and
you
beach
had
balls in
actually
the
really
outfield.
nice days. The first couple days, it was perfect.
It's crazy. It was actually really good.
Yeah, but that's all it always goes in Omaha. It's 72, then it's 98.
Yeah. But you can't expect to stay out there more than 5 or 6 days.
I tell everybody who asks me, like, if you got a father-son situation and he plays baseball, all right, fine, get him out there. Do you really love baseball personally? Like, really love it? Like, you can sit and watch a game right now. If the Dodgers are playing the Brewers and it's a Thursday night and it's a good pitching matchup, do you watch it? Because if the answer is yes, all right, you might enjoy a good 7 to 8 days of baseball. Otherwise, if you're lukewarm on it, you watch an inning here or there, you tune in on the playoffs, and that's about it, man. It ain't for you.
The best.
This ain't your life.
No,
you ain't about this life.
The best approach might be the people who don't care who's playing. They reserve. They're going to go for 4 or 5 days.
LSU fans. That's who that is.
But
Yeah.
if you book a flight, you're going to go for 4 or 5 days.
Yep. Doesn't matter.
You know the window.
You just
Win,
go.
lose, or draw. Whatever happens, if your team makes it, they don't make it. I'm going to go enjoy
agree.
4 or 5 days, and then I'm out.
I agree with that.
But being not knowing, am I going to be here? Am I not going to be here?
Calling the wife and kids back, what do you want me to do? It's going to be another 9 days.
They have scooters now, though. They have motorized scooters in
Which
Omaha,
I heard you
downtown
rode.
Omaha.
Yeah.
Apparently, you're supposed to ride them in the middle of the street.
The middle of the street?
Yeah.
In the
A
street.
security guard came and told me.
You're not supposed to ride them on
Number
the
one,
Oh,
you
you're
have to
riding them on the sidewalk.
Yeah, but the
that's not ideal.
sidewalks were empty. And it's not ideal to be in the middle of a downtown.
They were empty because you were careening down the road.
Yeah,
in a
here they
electric
come
scooter.
again.
It's
Here
also
comes
not
that
ideal to
bald
be
guy
on-
and his kid.
It's not ideal to be on a scooter.
No, it was kind of fun, though. It was Brady's highlight, to be honest with you, because let's be honest.
When you're little, a scooter's appealing.
Also, those 3 baseball games were not appealing.
Oh, no.
The 3 Florida State baseball
Whole
games
lot of not
were
scoring.
really hard to watch.
He was texting me about the scooters, and I said, well, the great thing about riding scooters in Omaha is that people in Omaha can't judge you because they're...
Yeah, that's right. They're
taking
that
shots
guy's
at people in Omaha.
Hey.
That's real America out there.
He's right. They're probably going, look at that rich guy. He got a scooter.
He got a scooter. He's got a
That
phone
rich-ass
with an
dude.
app.
I wonder if
He
he's
can
got
unlock that
I wonder
thing.
if he's got a golf cart. This guy's outrageously wealthy.
I'm not going to sit here for you to disparage Omaha like this.
Well, it's not. It's okay.
It's okay. It's all right. It's
well,
sure. Yeah.
Unfortunately, even though the team overachieved, it is always disappointing when you get out there and you don't play well.
Score 2 runs.
Pitched really well.
Sure.
My God, did we pitch well.
Sure.
I mean, we pitched like a national champion.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that Tommy Henry kid can really pitch.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Straight up
and the
dealing.
kid from Arkansas was good.
Yeah.
So his last 3 wins have been against UCLA, Florida State, and
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
That's
Good
shoving.
grief.
Yeah, that kid's shoving. He's
Yeah.
doing some things. Seminole Headlines on 97.9 ESPN Radio continues in a moment.
Seminole Headlines will take a breather. More next.
Exciting news for you loyal Florida State fans. Now you can show your Seminole pride plus get 15% off all regular priced FSU merchandise during Team Tuesdays. Remember to stop by any Garnet and Gold store location on Team Tuesdays and take 15% off all regular priced FSU apparel. It's that easy during Team Tuesdays at Garnet and Gold. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Stop by Garnet & Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com. 2019 Nike Coaches apparel has now arrived. Visit Garnet & Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com.
Introducing Hardee's Charbroiled Double Deals for $2.49 each. Your choice of the double cheeseburger, the new bacon cheddar double, or backed by popular demand, the Hardee's Classic. They're double. The beef. Triple. The options. You probably noticed the echo. It happens when we double, beef, and triple the options with our Charbroiled Double deals for $2.49 each. It's kind of epic. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Double the meat is compared to the small cheeseburger. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Price may vary. Tax not included.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee has officially become a Nissan town. The Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents
and Doug. Limu, there's a woman threatening to sign up for generic car insurance. Grab your birdseed and let's go.
I'm going to sign these papers right here, right now.
Ma'am, drop the pen. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Thanks, Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Don't thank us, thank Liberty Mutual. But also thank us.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Hendrick.
Find new adventures, find new roads, find a new car buying experience at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Save big at the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month. Get a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. That's right, up to $12,000 in savings. Find honest, trusted service right here on Tennessee Street or shop DaleJuniorChevy.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer insurance. See dealer for details.
Seminole Headlines returns now on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
All right, so Florida State loses. That in itself is not a shock. In and of itself is not a shock at all. I wasn't disappointed. I know a lot of people were, always. I'm like, that's not the time to apply the always. When you ought not be there because your team isn't any good for the 3 quarters of the season, and then you get there, you ought to look at it as we got bonus baseball. I mean, how in the world did we go into Athens and just ass-hammer a national seed? They weren't competitive. Georgia looked like fools. LSU gets swept at home at Alex Box, another top 16 national seed. That never happens. They got swept at home. Their fans were stunned. All of this was a bonus and a nice way to end a career for Coach Martin to get back out there. And at the end of the day, I was thankful for that. Really, anything we got out there, including the win against Arkansas, just felt like, beyond our wildest dreams. I never thought they'd be out there. I didn't think they'd win that game. I thought Arkansas was a better team all year long. I thought most of the teams out there were better teams than Florida State. So I had no expectation that they were going to win the national championship. Now, there is truth to say that it's pretty random, and as I like to note, truncated tournaments don't always produce the real best team in the country. See the fact that Michigan may now walk away with a title, and they're, one of the last 4 in.
You know how many people, I texted this to Ira last night. Guess how many people were at Michigan's season opener this year, home opener?
107.
That was close. 215.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a balmy day in
55.
early March.
I looked it up. It's 55 drizzly.
55
and drizzly.
When you don't get to the College World Series from 1984 to now, and you haven't played for a national title since 1962, well, why the hell would you be at those things? I mean, that doesn't happen, right? So they don't care. And this is the kind of thing that's going to happen now. It's just another spit in the face of Florida State fans.
215
it's unbelievable.
people.
Yeah.
That probably included the concession. They might have even had concessions.
They'll win the national championship, perhaps.
Have a parade, and there'll be 45 people there.
I was going to say, next year's season opener, when they unveil the national championship, it'll be 862 people.
Maybe.
40-degree day, gloomy,
And their coach seemed likable, but he must be really likable because that Florida State-Michigan game, the first 3 or 4 innings, was unbelievable. It was like a Michigan promotional piece. I mean, all the work they do in the inner city and which is cool. It is
cool, yeah,
and it's good. I mean,
he's
you'd
a
like
good
to
coach,
see more of that happen.
Yeah.
But man, they just went on and on and on about Michigan.
Well,
they've had plenty of time to talk about them now.
Yeah, they have had. They've vetted every possible angle.
Yeah,
that there
for the
is.
last 9 days.
Yeah, my God, have they? But I'm actually stunned by what we're seeing here. I think Vanderbilt's probably a lot better team, but.
Hey, what are you going to do? You know what? It's baseball. And that kid's a good pitcher.
And he dealt last night. Yeah, it is. And, it is
be cool if that Florida State could have a run like that. Just get on a crazy magical run. Just once. They're allowed to happen.
It's hard to imagine Michigan beating that kid Vandy's going to throw tonight. And
no, I don't think so.
If you even it up.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I thought Vandy was the better team. I didn't think Michigan would win last night, but They certainly can. Well, first of all, that kid from Vandy last night is missing up. Everything is up. It's just getting hammered. I'm like, sir, you can't miss belt high. What are we doing here? That said, Florida State didn't play well when they got out there. It didn't hit. And I thought the timing, as is usually the case with Florida State, baseball in particular, timing really forsakes them. You knew they were going to hire Mike Martin Jr., and we're not idiots, so we don't look at a 3-game sample size against elite pitching and decide that's who he is. Right. But 97% of the vocal fan base on social media does. And so that's exactly what you got. Morons going, well, why would we hire him? Well, I don't know. If we had hired him right after the Athens regional, we would have looked like geniuses according to your logic.
Yeah, if they'd announced it then,
I mean, so it's just, this is what happens. But it was unfortunate because they really looked terrible at the plate. Terrible.
What'd you guys think of the press conference?
Yeah, it was fun. It was odd seeing Meade in that role.
It is.
Well, number one, in a suit.
Yeah.
And then,
nice suit.
It was Meade. He was just a little sped up when he was talking because, he obviously had never done that before. And I would be the same way. You could tell he was a little out of his element, but I also thought he answered the questions about as truthfully and transparently as you could. And it's a dicey deal, man, because
what do you want to trample all over your
father's legacy? Well, that's what he said. It's like, look, I'm not going to roll the guy. That was his exact quote. I'm not going to roll the guy, but people want to know how he's different than his old man.
It's really hard.
How the program is going to be better. And it's hard to really talk about that when you're replacing your dad.
Well, especially
they won
because,
a lot of games.
Let me just say this. You get a sense that there is real profound frustration that he has felt about elements of the program for a very long time. And he's had ideas about what he would change to better the program for a very long time. He also knows his dad is a living legend, the all-time winningest coach in college sports, is as prideful a Knoll as there is. You're not going to, he's your dad. You love him. So what are you to do? You're supposed to go up there and go, listen, my dad has been falling asleep at the wheel for a decade.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the changes we made. You can't do that, even if you think it a little bit, even if it's in the back of your mind that, hey, I would run this a lot differently because we need to do this, this, and this to catch up with these programs that we're not doing now. It's hard to say that without, by definition, slighting your father. So I don't know. I always thought that was going to be a weird sort of deal. And I also think it's important for him, though, however he has to word it, to make sure people understand that he does have his own ideas and is very different from his father and does believe that things should have been done differently in a number of areas, not all, in a number of areas for some time now. And so however you have to express that without trampling the legacy of your father, which is, again, delicate, I think he should do it and do it around every turn.
I thought he handled it pretty well. And you got to assume that, his dad knows the deal. Mike Martin Sr. is obviously very astute in terms of diplomacy and kind of he can read a room and understands, he probably put his ego aside and say, you know what, I know this is what you need to do. Mike Martin Sr. still may disagree with what Mike Martin Jr. is about to go do.
Right.
The changes he's going to make. He may think, son, you're making a mistake.
But you would tell him to be his own man. Yeah. Go do what you got to do because you're going to sink or swim on your decisions.
Yeah, and to me, that's where I think that I thought he struck the right balance there. Now, again, Mike Martin Jr. is always going to be a little bit more rougher around the edges, and I think that's probably we heard some things about the search committee, and maybe the search committee liked some other candidates, maybe who came across as a little bit more polished. That's a chatter you hear. But that doesn't surprise me at all, and it doesn't really bother me because I'll never forget Kevin O'Sullivan coming to the regional. His first time I really interacted with him, I think, was he came to FSU's regional here. They came to a regional here. And my man showed up at the press conference in like a cutoff, like muscle shirt And, like, I think he was chewing. And and it was just like, dude, this guy, seriously?
This is the leader of
You're the head baseball coach in Florida.
Yeah.
And this is a press conference with all these other coaches have the golf shirts on and everything. Well, it's like, and I'm like, this guy's a clown. And then, he goes out and wins a national title and has maybe one of the top 2 or 3 programs in the country for several years. My point is that winning the interview room or even winning the press conference isn't the most important thing.
Well, we saw that with the football coach that was hired here recently. He knocked the opening press conference out of the park.
And everything in between. I mean, all of the stuff leading up to it, the next 6 months, everything else, and then the games were played.
Yeah. So he did not knock the season out of the park.
No, I think I think, and we have a lot of questions about this in the second hour, so we might as well save some of our thoughts on the hire itself and some of the perhaps more legitimate concerns that some people have, along with people who back the hire. We can get more into the weeds with that in the second hour. As far as the press conference went, I thought it was fine. It was fine. It was your typical press conference.
What do you think his? I think I know. It's a dumb question. It's a rhetorical question. But him saying whatever, I don't even think he was asked about it. He just said, "Look, we're not taking another fastball down the middle."
So that was the topic Tom and I talked most about yesterday, following the press conference. Was that leads you to believe there had been a mandate for years from the head coach that he disagreed with at times about working pitch counts, including looking at balls middle in. That meat would have had them swinging. I think that is odd because I have a hard time believing that that's true. I have a hard time believing.
I don't think it was necessarily an edict. I just think that
he wants him to be more aggressive.
His approach is, man, if you can turn on something, turn on something.
Right. If you get a fastball, you play off the fastball. You hit off the fastball. You get one. Let's go.
And there was a time where college pitchers didn't pitch inside.
They pitched backwards. Yeah. They did a lot of things differently.
But now they do pitch inside, and you've got to own that. He wants to own that. You've got to own that. So I get it. But yeah, I think that there's and it's also, again, I just think he was trying to hammer home the point that he's going to be his own guy and things are going to be different while still showing respect to his old man. But at the end of the day, we're all going to see. I don't have any doubt in my mind that Mike Martin Jr. can coach baseball at a really high level.
Right.
I think he's
not lacking the knowledge to coach the game of baseball.
So that's not going to be the issue. The issue to me is always been and will be all the other stuff. How does he handle all of the other stuff?
Well, here's something about coaching in general, and we'll save it till we come back. But a couple of statements about baseball coaches specifically, both in the majors and college, when we come back. Seminole Headlines, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Seminole Headlines will take a breather. More next. Time now for your Atlanta Braves Minute. Brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey. Personal injury law is all they do.
Last night in Chicago, the Braves kicked off Game 1 of a 4-game series versus the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Julio Teheran was on the mound taking on John Lester, and both pitchers coming off of bad outings. For Julio Teheran, his bad luck would continue. John Lester was very good as he went 6 innings, giving up 0 earned runs and struck out 7. Meanwhile, for Julio Teheran, gave up a home run to Wilson Contreras in the 2nd, gave up another base hit in the 4th inning, and then he saw all 9 Cubs come to the plate in the 5th inning. 5 runs would score. He would not leave that inning. Biggest base hit for the Cubs came in that 5th inning when Anthony Rizzo came to the plate and delivered this base hit.
Here's the pitch to Rizzo. Swung on, line to left field. That'll get another run home. Riley has it on one hop. Schwarber comes across. 5-0 Chicago.
Braves would muster up 2 runs late thanks to a 2 RBI single out of Nick Markakis in the 6th and a solo homer by Dansby Swanson in the 8th, but in the end, not enough as the Cubs beat the Braves by a final score of 8-3. Braves back at it tonight, 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central with the first pitch. Lefty Max Fried on the mound looking for his 9th win of the year, and he takes on Adbert Alzolay, a right-hander. I'm Ben Ingram, and this has been your Atlanta Braves Radio Network update.
Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing great, Tom.
So I've got two questions, and the first one I'm going to ask you about is the state championship. What made this year, this team, so special?
If I had to use one word, I would say resiliency. We preach that word from the first day of practice, that no matter what happens, we as a group need to stick together, and we need to form a brotherhood that is so tight that nothing can break us. And our group was talented, but I think what made them so special is that they were resilient when things got hard. Instead of severing and breaking apart, they instead came together even stronger, and then also selfless, that this group put the team above themselves in a way that I have hardly ever seen in sports, whether it be on the high school, college, or pro level. And I think that's what made this year's 2019 state champions at JP2 so special.
It sounds like even though you built a culture, a championship culture at that, at JP2, it doesn't just come from the basketball program itself.
JP2 is a wonderful family environment. It is a school that prides itself in helping students develop and form in mind, body, and spirit. It truly is a family atmosphere.
For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Barry knows school. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows school. Very no heating and air conditioning, keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Deciding whether or not to fix something that has worked well for a long time can be a tough choice. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we'll help you decide on whether to repair your existing system or consider new energy-efficient options. Book your repair or service appointment online in under a minute at baranoac.com.
Now you can quickly and easily schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. This summer, turn to the experts at Carrier. Learn more about great rebates and 0% financing for up to 60 months online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Very no heating and air conditioning.
Seminole Headlines returns now on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
We're talking about the hiring of Mike Martin Jr. as the head coach at Florida State, amongst many other things that we'll get to. But I was saying before the break, I had a thought on baseball coaches in general. One of the things that intrigues me, or that I find amusing at the very least, about these arguments people have, especially as it relates to Mike Martin Jr., the decisions that are being made in-game by a baseball coach are nominal. I mean, there aren't many.
It's pitching.
It's
when do I go get the guy in the
most
bullpen?
Managers that ever reach the level that we're talking about, coaching a big-time college program, coaching in the majors certainly, understand how to go about the process of readying pitchers, when to get them up, the matchups they like. They've already done the scouting report. They know who's what. They've prepared their players. This is not uncommon across the board. The other stuff that involves relationships and creating a clubhouse that, people are relaxed and doing all that stuff, that's the stuff that really, it's not, for lack of a better term, the X's and O's of the game. They all know that. They've spent their life in baseball. There ain't that many decisions to make in a baseball game. There's not. It's not football. It's not tennis. It's not soccer. It's not any. Baseball to me would be the simplest if you're just talking about, understanding your team, understanding the opponent, when to get guys up, matchups. That's it. Some of the other stuff is a roll of the dice. You can call it hit and run. Sometimes you get that right. Sometimes you get that wrong. That's every manager. The shift is dictated by spray charts and a number of other things that you have handed to you by your advanced scout. There are all these things that managers get credit for or get talked about. But in truth, all of them know the same stuff. It's what Ira was saying, man. This is about, do they have what they need to succeed? To me, they could have hired, Willie Smith or somebody we've never heard of. My question would remain the same, whether it's Junior or anybody else. Do they have the resources? Are they going to be able to keep up with the Joneses now? Because we look all around college baseball, and I know Michigan right now is surprising us, but certainly Vandy doesn't skimp on what they're doing there with the baseball program. Arkansas, Mississippi State, LSU, Florida now with an investment. We're
There's
seeing
a similarity between all the schools you just mentioned.
Yeah, but you're looking
what is that?
you're looking at a lot of places now that have sunk a ton of money into baseball. They care all of a sudden about baseball. And those are the teams that are going to be back there repeatedly because they have the latest and the ability to recruit kids based on that. Hey, look at our facility compared to that crappy facility you're talking about maybe going to at Florida State. Hey, we've got TrackMan, we've got this. They don't have that. They're missing this. Whatever it might be, it's about the resources. Because other than that, if all things are equal, the coaching ability is going to be the same as almost all those other guys.
Well, it's about resources. It's also about culture. And they do have a culture at Florida State. I don't know what happened in the middle of this season, but they're used to winning, and they win a lot.
And they ended up winning.
And I would say it about, you talk about what's important. Man, yeah, that to me is the most important, is developing a culture. Number one, fix the defense. Figure out how you can field the ball somehow, some way.
Well, don't you think that having three coaches?
Absolutely.
Well,
that's definitely going to help.
Get into that in the second hour. That's a big
that's
thing.
definitely going to help. But you also want a culture that's used to winning and that like he said, that cares for each other. And when you look at what this basketball program has become, we're not saying that all of a sudden Leonard Hamilton became a great X's and O's coach or figured out something. No, man, they have a culture now. They win. They care about each other. They're fun to watch.
They sacrifice for one another.
All that stuff, man. To me, that's more important than can you call the picket fence with 6 seconds left to get Jimmy Chitwood
We're going to run the picket fence on him.
But really, that was the question mark about Mike Martin Jr.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why people. That's not the main reason. His name is the main reason, but why even people who are close to the program and are sensible were concerned because they don't know how he's going to handle all that stuff. It's different being a head coach.
Yes, it is.
And he's never done that before.
That part of it is a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing at the people who are like, well, we didn't hit in those 3 games.
No, that's nonsense.
That's just ridiculous.
No, that's ridiculous.
Then Clyde Keller should be the coach.
Right.
But in terms of, and I, look, I think it was worth noting that Meat, again, a couple times during the press conference said, he brought up, we're not going to be a Bobby Knight style of coaching. He talked about having positive assistant coaches. And to me, that clearly has been a conversation that I think he's had with David Coburn and John Thrasher because Meat is an abrasive guy.
He can be difficult.
He's a hard-edged guy. That's how he is.
Yeah. Well, he wants to win. He's really competitive.
But I think seems to me that, I think he's a self-aware person. I think he's always been, I just wrote this in my column, and I think you guys would agree, he's always been very blunt about his own and the program shortcomings. I mean, off the air or on the air,
yeah, sure.
He recognizes where they got to get better. So it could be just a situation where he knows he needs to surround himself with some good cops, or it could have been communicated to him. Either way, I think that's going to be as key as anything.
It's the biggest key, Ira. You nailed it. It's really about that. It's not the strategy. It's not, hey, do I understand the game, how to teach the game? The answer is yes, a resounding yes. There's nobody in baseball who disagrees with that. Now, they may not like the man. They may not like the hire for a lot of reasons. They may think there are certainly better candidates out there for a number of reasons, and perhaps that's true. But they weren't really on the ledger when it came to guys Florida State could choose from, right? So knowing the game of baseball isn't what we're arguing here. So any argument that begins with that, I just roll my eyes and say, we're done here. You don't. And it sounds so dismissive, and it is. Because the people who start that, I'm like, you don't understand what you're talking about. You literally don't know what you're talking about. So we're done here.
Well, like Corey wrote the other day. I mean, if you want to bring up Jeff Bowden, we can't have this conversation.
We can't have a conversation.
I can't talk sensibly to you.
No,
you just can't.
So I think that, but to the resources point, I think what's going to be interesting is how Mike Martin Jr. handles that aspect of it.
Because it's been very frustrating.
Yeah. And
very frustrating for people over there that feel like they are falling behind.
And I see it on both sides. Again, I see from the one side, well, look, man, what's going to be the return on that investment? And you've got an athletic program that's underwater. You need to devote everything you can to football. I don't know that you can be spending a ton of money in these other sports. I think right now they're planning to spend about $6 million to cover some of the seats down the foul line and do some other things. And now Meat wants to reconfigure the clubhouses or dugouts in the clubhouse. But as far as putting big major money into, like you mentioned, those SEC schools. Well, those schools have that SEC money. They have that TV money that the ACC doesn't have. So it's going to be interesting to see how it, because Meat has a little Jimbo in him in the sense of he's going to demand, he's going to want, he's going to push.
You kind of have to, though. I mean, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah,
as a coach, you should do that.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Right.
But that's going to be a little bit different dynamic. I don't think Mike Martin Sr. was as active in that area.
No, because he was at the end of his career, and he knew that that's a different fight for somebody else, a younger man.
And the arms race really kind of cranked up as he was heading towards sunset.
Yeah, it's got to be infinitely frustrating because if you put yourself in the baseball coach's shoes, the expectation is that you get back to Omaha pretty frequently and give yourself a chance to win this elusive national title. And yet, if you don't feel like you have all the resources necessary to compete with the teams that are routinely hosting regionals and super regionals and getting back out there, how do you not get mad? How do you not get impatient? How do you not feel a sense of dread? Because that's what you're being judged by, yet you're not given all the tools to get there.
What could have been the best thing that happened to him, to Mike Martin Jr. in that endeavor, was getting to play at LSU with David Coburn and all the boosters and everybody else got to come to that stadium.
That was unbelievable, by the way. I mean, we talked about it last time, but just walking in there, I went, well even Georgia's is very different.
Georgia's is much nicer than Hauser.
It's just
smaller.
Quaint. It's tiny.
It's smaller, but the amenities inside are much nicer than Hauser.
By the way, and I keep bringing this up, is the frustrating aspect, and I think this is, again, got to be something that you'd have to control your emotions if you're the coach at Florida State and you see this. You ought not go to Wake in places like that and see a nicer facility.
Yeah.
But you do.
Hey, you know what?
Even when within the ACC, that's a kick,
Sure.
It's sure. Because they have been the preeminent program in this conference forever. Yeah. Well, since they joined it.
25, 26 years.
Yeah, I mean, and just to not have better facilities than, say, 8 other teams in the conference, you got to feel, what the hell are we doing here? It's tough, but it's also your reality. So what are you going to do? We can find somebody who won't wallow in self-pity.
I'm just excited to have another situation where the facilities are going to be blamed.
No, I don't think the facilities are going to be blamed.
I know. I was a joke.
I know.
But we lived this 2.5 years ago with the football coach. This one's more realistic, by the way.
Oh, my Lord, that article yesterday just... Well, we consider the source, of course we do, but there is an aspect of it that cracked me up, and I know it had to have made both of you laugh. I'll get to the Bleacher Report article when we come back. Seminole Headlines, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Seminole Headlines will take a breather. More next.
And we're back with another edition of Spring Cleaning. Today, we want to know how you save energy, water, and money during a warmer season. Caller, you're on the air. What do you do to save energy?
With the warmer temperature, I know my AC is working overtime, so I make sure to replace my AC filter once a month.
Excellent suggestion. Next caller, you're on the air.
Well, the city of Tallahassee recommends that I take advantage of their grants and loans to get more insulation in my attic. That's really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Hurricane Michael was not kind to many of our homes and businesses. As I ride through Tallahassee, the blue tarps and missing shingles are abundantly visible. While a few missing shingles may seem like minimal damage, I assure you they are not. Leaks can occur, causing wood decay, interior damage, or mold growth within your home or business. We specialize in storm damages and insurance claims. Let us get your roof back to shedding water, not leaking water. Call us today. We can help. At T-Spark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Fonville Lewis Mr. McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Mr. McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
The Jeff Cameron Show.
I used to have to go across, well, we called it the 10-cent toll, but, you go out there past Tierra Verde on your way to St. Pete Beach, and I had to pay that toll every time, and I was broke. And that led to some ill-advised decisions that eventually got me fired. But anyhow, it was a Pac-Man machine. Come on. Anyhow, I never told that story.
No.
Oh, I got fired from my ice cream job. I was because I stole money out of the Pac-Man machine.
Oh, my God. You just took quarters out of the machine?
Kind of. So,
oh my God.
Listen, here's the deal. The Pac-Man machine in the ice cream store at the Don Cesar, it had a way where you could slide like your driver's license or anything thin.
A card.
Yeah, a card of some kind. You could slide it underneath the little lock thingy and it would open up. Now, originally, I figured this out because I wanted to play free games. But temptation got the best of me. I'm not proud of this, but I am transparent here. So I would grab a handful of quarters occasionally for the week. But I didn't know the lady that ran the ice cream place knew her numbers, man. She knew how much on average they made in quarters. And she says to me one day, "Are you stealing quarters out of the Pac-Man machine?" I mean, just straight up with it. I was real. That's a punch to the nose.
No time.
That's a punch to the nose.
Oh, well,
I lied. I quickly lied and said, no, I'm not.
You were Gene Hackman.
And we're just looking at each other, and she goes, the reason I ask is, and then she had it broken down. She told me how many quarters she gets at, each time of the day, and then she equated that to my shift. I couldn't believe it. But she was, actually, her retort was even better than mine. Because I denied it, and then she goes, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to call the cops, and you can explain yourself." And I just looked at her, and then she goes, "Or you can resign. You can quit. We'll just consider it a closed matter." And then I said, "Well, I don't want to work at a place where I'm accused of these things."
Oh, you know what? I remember that part of it. Oh, my God. Indignant to the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I never owned it.
That would be infuriating as a manager, would it not?
That's why I did it. And then I got up and I handed her my bib. And
here's my bib.
Here's my bib.
I'm the heck out of here.
Yeah,
here's my bib.
Here's my bib. But I told her, I was like, I don't want to work.
How many quarters is that worth?
I don't want to work at a place where I'm going to be accused of this thing that I clearly did. Yeah.
You wonder where Clark gets it.
Yeah, I'm not proud of that.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Seminole Headlines returns now on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So my favorite part yesterday of reading the Bleacher Report article by Matt Hayes, which really just basically regurgitated stuff we've been saying for years, all of us, anybody who's covered Florida State. What I thought was funny was, just because I know the angle. He desperately wanted to find a way to blame this on Jameis.
Man,
he tried so hard. He was like, this is really about Jameis. Like, there's nothing in this is about Jameis. But he had to find a way.
We tried to tell you back then that this was a
I've
program
been preaching
run
to
amok.
you, even though I was proven wrong time and again, including that I thought Jimbo was going to be a terrible hire and he ended up winning the national championship and really the best of those hires that I graded poorly. You know, so having said that, I always had it out for him. And, oh, by the way, I hate Jameis, and I tried to warn you guys, and don't you see now the predicament you're in is because of Jameis.
And also, like
that was really the turning point.
That was my favorite part.
I'm like, man, there are so many problems in that program. That wasn't. That
Jameis
was not
being coddled wasn't the biggest one, and also like the thought. I don't know who.
Also, Jameis was a good student. That's just stupid.
The assistant saying that after the Clemson thing, after he put on the uniform, that he should have been suspended for 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, what?
Okay, well then you just lost NC State the next week. You lost at Louisville.
Yeah.
You lost at Miami. All of a sudden, you're not in the playoff. You just went 8-5.
Yeah,
good job. But hey, at least you kept your convictions because the kid put on his uniform and dressed. Now, if that was a direct screw you to Jimbo, like I don't care what you say, I'm putting on my uniform.
Here's the problem with that, and this is why that look, man, you interviewed coaches that he did not take with him to Texas A&M, and were not retained by Florida State. Mm-hmm. So there's a small pool of disgruntled assistant coaches.
You set up the quote. Yeah.
But my point is that Jameis didn't go find his uniform in the closet and put it on.
It was
set up at his locker.
Yeah. Listen.
We're falling into the trap. Well, it just pisses me off.
It's just dumb.
It was put out by an equipment person who didn't know he wasn't supposed to put it out.
Right. Listen,
Jimbo's not putting out the uniforms, and he's not taking them away.
There were plenty of things in the article that actually were worthwhile that we could get to that were fun. I literally laughed out loud when I read that article and it got to the Jameis. I went, oh, there it is, Matt. There you go, Matt. You got it in there, baby. 20 years from now, there's going to be an article on Florida State written by Matt Hayes in which he goes, and if Jameis Winston
he's going
to be in tears as he types it.
They just stopped Jameis.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best. But, okay, aside from that, I did think it was interesting that Coburn was frequently quoted, and the fact that he shows that.
Matt actually got him over at Amelia Island. He showed up at Amelia Island and interviewed Coburn, and I was there at the time. So I wasn't there when they did the interview, but David Coburn mentioned it to me that he interviewed Matt Hayes and that Matt Hayes seemed to be doing a story on that topic, which I thought was interesting. Because my point with the whole thing is, man, it's, look, I mean, if you live in Dubuque, I guess it's all revolutionary.
It is actually, nationally, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Not here, it doesn't.
No, it's just like, man, this is
We've done it.
old.
We've done it over and over again.
And I thought because of that, it painted Willie as an excuse maker when I don't think that's where he is right now. I don't think he's pointing to Jimbo as
So I want to ask you, too, because somebody obviously Matt decided to write that story, and an editor, although they don't exist hardly anymore most places, said, yeah, do that. It struck me as a piece that if I were Florida State, I would have had written or had somebody write. I mean, if I were Coburn, perhaps I would have been happy that somebody nationally was writing this story, because I don't need a coach that I can't fire after this year to be on the hot seat and under the gun, and for people not to understand that it's not all his fault. So if somebody will paint that picture for me, that'd be great. As opposed to, say, Matt Hayes is at a red light going, man, what could I write about this summer? I should really write about how none of this is Willie's fault.
Yeah.
That struck me as odd.
I do think it contextualizes what we've been saying for, like you said, 18 months, 20 months, for the people that don't live Florida State
if you live in
like
Illinois or you live in wherever, yeah.
But yeah, and I have the conversation with Aslan like every other day. Jimbo was 5-6 when he left.
Yeah,
they were 5-6.
If they don't reschedule the game, they don't make the bowl that year. Everybody knows that. Well, people forget it conveniently.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't like Willie Taggart took over a program humming along. He did not take over 2013.
They were also bad in the 10-3 year the year before.
Sure, but either way, it wasn't a program that was humming along. Now, the problem, the only real issue I had with that article is it placed no blame for 2018 at Willie Taggart's feet. And Willie Taggart was the coach of the team.
Yeah, and he took over, a terrible job last year.
He took over, and he's admitted he made mistakes.
Yeah, of course he made a lot of mistakes. And they had problems, deep-seated issues, some of which he inherited and some of which he didn't do anything to fix, and some of which were his own, which we can say it's okay.
You don't have to take an ugly mess and light it on fire. You don't have to. And that season was a dumpster fire. It was just lit. It was lit from the beginning.
I think that we know now the lack of communication, perhaps cohesion, however you want to describe it, amongst the coaching staff only aided the further decline of the program. They clearly, the Walt Bell situation did not work out. The Greg Fry situation did not work out. You had a lot of things going on there that, and you can't do anything about it in the middle of the season. So Willie had to have recognized, I don't know, maybe after the Syracuse game?
Yeah.
We're in real trouble here.
Yeah.
We got some
middle of the second quarter of the Syracuse game.
Yeah, like this is
we punting again.
But to your point of where the article could have helped Florida State is if it delivered on kind of what I thought the premise was when either the headline or something said something about like his plan to clean it up or something that. But that never really came across in the article. It was just it was basically all like he's starting now. And to me, that was the impression I got. Is like now he's got a chance to start. And it's like, well, man, talk about he touched on that guys have been better about going to class or whatever, but
which they have. That's a reality.
But to me, the focus should have been more. Well, I mean, if you're Florida State and you wanted that article, you would want to see more forward looking. Because again, I just think it looked like.
Can't get everything you want, Ira, but you got a little bit. I mean, I feel like if you're Florida State, you got a little help.
You're
there.
like, okay, look at what our head coach had to take over.
I'm all for people piling on Jimbo. I just think at this point.
But, I mean, again, I think it was.
It's been gone for 2 years.
But it was that one season where people were like, what in the world did Willie Taggart do? And people do need to realize he inherited a broken program. Yeah. Like, it was broken. Yeah. He has to fix it. And sometimes those
we've
fixes
certainly
can
been
take
saying that for a long time.
Yeah, but like he says, the people in Dubuque, the people in the great city of Omaha.
You think that was the purpose of that article?
Probably for the people in Omaha, I would think. People at the zoo waiting to see if the line will come out.
Staring
and stop
longingly at those that can afford scooters.
My favorite byproduct of that whole conversation, which people get to it pretty quickly, and you can see when you're reading it, you're like, okay, you know where people are going to go.
Yeah.
And it's pretty quick to go to, well, if Jimbo was this awful, what was our administration doing?
Yeah.
And it's like, first of all, if you don't realize how screwed up this sport is, this industry is, just look at the salaries. The football coaches make 10 times what the university presidents make and the athletic directors make.
Yeah.
I mean, if a football coach is successful,
you ain't saying nothing.
I mean, what are you talking about?
Urban Meyer is a good example.
And people keep saying,
and that dude would get hired tomorrow if he wanted to coach again.
Legitimately had murderers, plural.
Oh, they're everywhere. Apparently, we find out more every day. There's another murderer on that team. My God, they were killing everybody.
So the idea that the administrators can take corrective action when you lose, because then their board is going to support them.
You no longer have leverage.
And the boosters are going to support them.
The coach no longer has leverage.
But if they're winning, people, and like in
Dude was 46-4 in a 50-game stretch. Yeah, Stan, tell him.
Stand down, Jimbo Fisher.
I'm Stan Wilcox.
Listen to me.
I'm your boss.
Yeah. Send those kids to class.
Yeah. What are we doing around here if not educating young men?
I don't care about the sellouts.
Yeah.
And if somebody's listening to this saying, well, that's a jaded way to look at things.
It's the reality.
Look at the salaries.
No, the ship sailed eons ago. If you don't like that, just go watch Ivy League football. I mean, you don't have anything else.
If the football coach is successful and not committing crimes that are provable, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, but hey,
good point.
We want Willie to get this thing turned around.
And you do have to hold the current coach accountable. And so this is, I think, an understatement, a very important season.
Yeah,
we're on the brink of a very important season. I sense that, feel that, you do too. I think he knows that. I mean, they've got to play well. They've got to look like they're moving in the right direction, because it's the only way you're going to start getting the elite player to say yes. If you don't have elite players, you can't win a lot of games. And you can't get elite players if you're 5-7 and you don't look like you know what you're doing.
And that's pretty obvious from looking at the recruiting efforts right now.
So
I mean, they're in the mix.
You've reached the pinnacle of what you could do, the apex of what you can do after a 5-7 season. You got a slew of 4 stars early in the process, kids that were going to change the culture and can play. But there's only so much you can do. There's a limit to that point. At some point, they're like, I'm going to go to Clemson.
I mean, and really, I mean, that's why the early part of the season is so important, because it's the only thing that's going to give them a chance.
Yes.
Again, with this early signing
an
period,
uptick, momentum. A little bit of Mo.
Uncle Mo.
Uncle Mo, as I call it, too.
Uncle Mo
it's Uncle Mo. Yeah.
It's Uncle Mo.
They got the big Mo on their side right
Brother
now.
Mo.
Yeah.
No, I coined Uncle Mo. That would have been, 12, 15 years ago?
One of the first times I met you said it. I went, that's cool. That's unique.
It's Uncle Mo.
This guy's bringing Uncle Mo to the table. I may want to get to know this Corey Clark.
Short for momentum.
Yeah, let's go to hour number 2 and get to the headliner questions in a moment.
Seminole Headlines will take a breather. More next.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the all-new Infinity of Tallahassee, the newest Kraft Brothers dealership. As we get ready to break ground on the new Kraft Infinity store, Peter and I thought, why not have a founding 50 with lots of cool stuff for 50 special buyers? And when we say special benefits, we mean it. Here's just some of what you'll get. Free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime powertrain warranty, and free gas fill-up with factory-scheduled maintenance. I told you this was special, and there's more. Free car wash and loaner cars, a gold license plate frame, and a commemorative brick at our new store. glove. Plus, my favorite, the white glove treatment with front-of-the-line service priority. It's Tallahassee's first truly VIP car buying and servicing experience. So if you're in the market for a luxury vehicle, you need to look at Infinity of Tallahassee. Seriously, no haggle pricing, and every time you come in for factory scheduled maintenance, we change your oil for free, wash your car, and even fill it up with gas. It's Infinity of Tallahassee's founding 50, so prepare to be pampered. Infinity of Tallahassee, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, next to Ted's Montana Grill.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Not a big summer guy. Too hot. Not a big winter guy either. Too cold. My favorite season? Safety season. Because it's every season. 24/7, 365. For all things safety, I trust Grainger. Grainger's safety experts have the safety solutions and expertise to help keep your facility safe and your people safer all year long. Seasons may change, but Grainger's always got your back. Call clickgrainger.com or stop by for all things safety. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents and Doug.
Limu, there's a woman threatening to sign up for generic car insurance. Grab your birdseed and let's go.
I'm going to sign these papers right here, right now.
Ma'am, drop the pen. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Thanks, Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Don't thank us, thank Liberty Mutual. But also thank us.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Hendrick.
We're celebrating the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month long at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Shop over 300 new Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs right here on Tennessee Street. Or find new roads at DaleJuniorChevy.com.
Time now for your Atlanta Braves Minute. Brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey. Personal injury law is all they do.
Last night in Chicago, the Braves kicked off Game 1 of a 4-game series versus the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Julio Teheran was on the mound taking on John Lester, and both pitchers coming off of bad outings. For Julio Teheran, his bad luck would continue. John Lester was very good as he went 6 innings, giving up 0 earned runs and struck out 7. Meanwhile, for Julio Teheran, gave up a home run to Wilson Contreras in the 2nd, gave up another base hit in the 4th inning, and then he saw all 9 Cubs come to the plate in the 5th inning. 5 runs would score. He would not leave that inning. Biggest base hit for the Cubs came in that 5th inning when Anthony Rizzo came to the plate and delivered this base hit.
Here's the pitch to Rizzo, swung on, line to left field, down to get another run home. Riley has it on one hop. Schwarber comes across. 5-0 Chicago.
Braves would muster up 2 runs late thanks to a 2 RBI single out of Nick Markakis in the 6th and a solo homer by Dansby Swanson in the 8th, but in the end, not enough as the Cubs beat the Braves by a final score of 8-3. Braves back at it tonight, 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central with the first pitch. Lefty Max Fried on the mound looking for his 9th win of the year, and he takes on Adbert Alzolay, a right-hander. I'm Ben Ingram, and this has been your Atlanta Braves Radio Network update.
Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Exciting news for you loyal Florida State fans. Now you can show your Seminole pride plus get 15% off all regular priced FSU merchandise during Team Tuesdays. Remember to stop by any Garnet and Gold store location on Team Tuesdays and take 15% off all regular priced FSU apparel. It's that easy during Team Tuesdays at Garnet and Gold. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Stop by Garnet and Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com. 2019 Nike Coaches apparel has now arrived. Visit Garnet and Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. It's time for Seminole Headlines, presented by Capital City Bank, featuring ESPN Tallahassee's Jeff Cameron, WarChant.com's managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, Pistols, and Pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, the Seminole Headlines, 979 ESPN Radio, begins right now. Our dear friends at Birch Orthodontics sponsor this hour. We're forever grateful.
Ira, are you going to talk?
Yes, I will.
Were you texting a friend or your wife, or what were you doing?
Maybe a boss.
Oh, all right. Yeah, okay.
Gene had a missed call from Gene Williams. Just wanted to.
Was there anything pressing? Something?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Is there anything? I mean, I don't think so.
Could be urgent.
It's June 25th.
The 5-star challenge, the Rivals 5-star challenge.
Hey guys, we got to get our top 40 in. I think I have.
That's right.
Have
by
you done
tomorrow.
It? Have you done it?
I'm not answering.
I feel so much better because I'm not officially an employee of WarChant.com. I do some work with you guys, which I'm forever grateful to do and enjoy. But I'm not on the payroll per se, and so I get a chiding email this morning.
We all got the chiding
last chance, or else we're just going to have to go forward with what we got. And I thought, well, did he include the other 2 members of Seminole Headlines to make me feel better?
Just so we can mock you?
So he could say, Jeff, get off your ass,
but
not isolate me. He did it because you... Yeah. Neither of you have done it either.
No,
well, it's Corey's favorite endeavor. He loves this. He thinks it's the coolest thing that WarChant does. And so, yeah.
I think we should do a top 85.
Once again, it's the original top 40.
Sure.
There's another one out there.
Oh, there are. I mean, soon everybody 40. Does. It is, again, June 25th.
We got to write about something. And I have some... here's the thing. So last year I had Jawan Williams.
Hey, hold on a second.
Dr. Birch.
Good job, Birch Orthodontics.
Get back on. I was there last week, actually. Had a nice conversation
with Dr.
Birch.
Put on my tooth yesterday, not at Birch Orthodontics, but I had a crown put.
Did you? How's it going?
It's going all right. Orthodontics makes sense. I think dentistry's a bit of a sham.
It could be.
I think it's a bit of a sham. That's an aside.
However, Dr. Birch did inform me the other day that she needs you to stop telling people that she's going to be like double checking all the dentist work. She likes the dentist. She's friends with the dentist.
I didn't say she was double checking anything.
You just said that dentists are a sham.
I think so.
Ask Dr. Birch if she agrees with that.
I think they are. I think there are a few emergencies. If you need a tooth extracted or you're in agony, other than that, bit of a sham.
These comments may be not endorsed by Dr. Heather Birch at BirchOrthodox.com. But if
she's probably laughing, nodding her head, going, "Cameron's on to us."
Yeah. But if you need braces like my kid, who was in there last week.
Now that's not a sham.
Man, there's one downside to the whole braces thing. They got when you get the bands, they start putting the bands on to kind of really line them up and
really tighten those bastards.
That can be a little uncomfortable.
I imagine.
I remember
going through did you have braces?
Oh yeah,
I did not. I had perfect teeth from the get-go.
I didn't.
Got very lucky.
Yeah, they get tightened like every month. I'd have to go in there. I don't know if it wasn't called tighten. They had some other word for it to not scare you as much.
Secure.
But, it would really hurt for a few days.
Yeah, so she's
a toughie.
I mean, I'm tough though, so I handled it.
You said, "Hey, I'm a man."
Yeah. But it doesn't.
I do.
13.
It
doesn't hurt as much at Birch Orthodontics as these other shyster orthodontics. Anyway, check them out, BirchOrthodox.com.
All right. Well, so you were going to say something, Corey, before we got carried away. Or you got carried away, and we needed to talk about Birch. But I
was going to say that last year I had Jawan Williams like 11th. I had him really high, and I was made fun of. Yeah. But no, he was important. Because he turned out to be very important because he wasn't very good, and that had a negative impact. We're not doing the best.
So that's how it works?
We're doing the most important. He was very important. It didn't work out for him.
Is it the 40 most important players on the team? That could be like a kid who's really smart helping the kids get their C's and B's.
Yeah, and that's like saying you had Chris Ricks as number one, and he stunk that year, but
vital.
That's the most important
position. He's still vital. No, I don't think it works that way.
That's how it works over here.
That's how you're going to do it?
Yeah.
You're going to be a radical.
I may tell Gene to lose your ballot.
Yeah. Well, if you'll do that, I'll be an anarchist. I'll just put like a kicker number
Aguayo?
1, and then
Beatty number 2.
I should put Aguayo number 1. Just like literally write in Aguayo. Jeffy's gone. No, Aguayo's number 1. All right, here we go. Steve writes, "Hey guys, hope you're ready to embrace the dog days of summer.
Holy moly, is it hot out there?
I was watching an FSU football game from 2012 yesterday and forgot just how stacked the team was that season. Would you guys classify that team as one of the more disappointing or underachieving groups?"
I mean,
I was disappointed with that season.
They went 12-2. They really should have been 13-1. I mean, you lost a game by a point when you had a 16-point lead.
Well, that was the NC State debacle.
I mean, I think a lot of it, man, is the quarterback. EJ was fine. He was a good college quarterback, probably better than good.
He got
wasn't
worse each
Jameis.
year he was here, so that,
Well, he was all right as a senior until the Florida. We all remember the Florida. You don't ever think about the Northern Illinois game.
All the spinny dudes.
How high on the BS meter was the? Well, that team had to learn to be a champion, and because they won that ACC crown, that's what led the 2013 team to know how to become a champion. And win it all.
That wasn't the difference between.
That was like a 9.9 on the scale of 10.
It wasn't the difference between EJ and Jameis, but rather the leadership learned in coming together.
They learned how to win.
That ACC.
But I'm telling you, man, we act like that. The Florida State program was just routinely ripping off 12-win seasons. They hadn't had one in a decade.
Man, this is a loser's argument, Corey. Listen, when the ACC
don't point at me. You do not point at me. I'll point at you.
This is the argument I got into with a buddy of mine who's like, we won 12 games. We just won the Orange Bowl.
I know the schedule. I know
Jesus
the schedule.
Christ, stop it.
But it's not like the 11 schedule was daunting the 9 schedule was daunting. It was kids that had never won finally winning.
It was nice. It was a change, but it's not reaching your full potential.
I'm not saying 2013 can't happen without 2012. But it did help.
What I am saying is, do you play to the requisite level of the talent you've accrued?
Why don't you ask Northern Illinois that?
And people will say, "Oh, well, teams don't always win every game." Well, that's fine, but that doesn't mean it's okay.
No, and you can also play well.
If you put that Florida State team and that NC State team together, Florida State should win that game. They were a much better football team. It was
34 points.
It looked like NC State could have played 6 hours and never scored.
It was ridiculous.
Jimbo shut it down and tried to nurse the lead. Yes. And then the Florida game, again, I get that EJ was having a tough day. But stop throwing the freaking football.
Or rolling him back out there after he's been concussed.
What about all the games they won, guys? What about all the games they won?
Okay. Lee writes, question for Corey. What do you think is a better show, Game of Thrones or Black Mirror?
So... Well, Game of Thrones, because it's the same narrative throughout. It's the same characters. Black Mirror is just one episode entities. It's like the Twilight Zone. And I haven't watched this season, but y'all should watch Black Mirror. It's fun. Start out with the first one, the very first one with the pig.
No.
The hog.
No.
But no, I like Black Mirror a lot. It's some, that's the thing. Some of them are awesome. Some of them are just okay. But they're all, they're all watchable.
Ryan writes a Seymour
question. Did I answer
that?
I think I said Game of Thrones.
Ryan asks a Seymour question that I didn't, but I think it's like a half of a word, so I think we're going to be okay here. And if it's not, this is the only part of the question I wanted to answer anyhow. Ryan writes, gentlemen and Corey, in light of the Jimbo stuff coming up again in the Bleacher Report article, how difficult was it for you three to analyze and report on the demise of his tenure while not being able to consider the changes in his personal life at the time?
That's a real question.
It's a real question and a good one. Because there were times, I think all of us were certainly sympathetic, empathetic to the, the things that were crumbling around Jimbo Fisher. Obviously, all of us are parents. So let's start with the impact of having a sick kid. None of us can really talk about it for more than a few seconds without getting choked up. It's brutal. I can't fathom it. Okay, so that was always on my mind. That was a rather ugly and bitter divorce. Do these things have a major impact on the decline of the program? I think so. Were they the only things? No. Were there telltale signs he was a problem before these things happened? Yes. So you were always trying to balance and marry those things, and I found it difficult.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in it at the time, when you would watch things play out behind the scenes, and you knew also Monk passing played a factor.
It was huge. That was huge.
There were a lot of things going on.
A lot of things happened.
So you're sitting there, you're observing it, and you're saying, well, this is probably going in the wrong direction, but you don't know for sure. It might not.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but at the end of the day, we have to write about and talk about the product on the field.
Yeah, and if they're not good, they're not good. It doesn't matter the reason. I mean, it does matter in terms of weighing on a scale of whatever you want to do, morality or whatever else. Yeah, it matters why things go south at a workplace or with a friendship or a relationship. Who's at fault, who's not, and what can you do about it? But at the same time, a fan paying his money for a ticket to watch a product that is underachieving wants answers. And I don't think, especially when you're paying somebody $5+ million a year, that
and
really
again,
there's ever a time where you can say, well, he's having some tough times behind the scenes.
Going back to the debate I have frequently, it's like there are people who feel like they want to hold on to the Jimbo Fisher of the first 4 or 5 years of his tenure. And, he might have flaws then, but he was still a very successful coach. You talked about the 42-4 run and all of the great things he did. But that wasn't the guy the last 2 or 3 years. And if he had stayed, if Florida State had given him everything he wanted and said, you may not be happy with Willie Taggart, and you may not think that's going to work out.
Maybe it won't.
But if they had figured out a way to keep Jimbo happy and given him the keys to everything and said the budget is yours, you don't have to talk to anybody, answer to anybody, we're going to build you everything you want, and he had stayed.
Tyrant.
Could you imagine how awful this place would be?
It was already awful. People were afraid to walk down the hall. Man, people who worked over there were nearly in tears on a daily basis. When that guy left, there was a joyous celebration throughout the building. That tells you everything you need to know. Now imagine another 2 years had passed.
Where he had been given everything he ever wanted.
Everything he wanted.
It would be like one of your dragons in Game of Thrones. But
they're not just my dragons, Hire. They're all of our dragons.
So so I guess to the point of the question, it's something you think about and you thought about, but at the end of the day, it's not fair to the players, it's not fair to the assistant coaches, it's not fair to the staff members, it's not fair to the fans or the boosters to have to accept that this is the way things are because he's had personal problems.
Well, it's also like half the country, including me, the person talking right now, has gone through a divorce or goes through divorces. That's not just a excuse to just be not good at your job. This guy would have fired me yesterday if I hadn't have brought my A game. Like I came through the other side of my divorce now. But at the same token, though, it's a very public divorce.
For a different reason than some divorces.
Right, sure. And it was a little more painful maybe, and it was somebody that was the first lady of Florida State football that all of a sudden just isn't there anymore, and it's a small town, and there's gossip, and there's stuff that he had to deal with that I certainly would never have to deal with.
And then you add in the sick child.
And so there were things that he was going through, obviously, that I'm sure, how could they not?
Oh, they absolutely had to have, yeah.
But still, and also, I can't, I don't follow, I guess, every college, but can you guys remember other big-time coaches going through a public divorce like that?
I think it's handled
differently, maybe, yeah.
Financial arrangements or...
But you just think
you don't
see a lot of divorces in college or just coaching.
Coaches are just so well adjusted. Great family.
Yeah,
Ryan, that was a good question. It was a fair question, and if there was a lot more to it, and I didn't see it because of the Seymour, we apologize. But I think I think the answer, in short, was that we did consider it, and there were times that you thought, I'm going to give a pass on that, but other times you thought, no, it just makes you a bad guy. Seminole Headlines, 97.9 ESPN Radio continues in a moment.
Seminole Headlines will take a breather. More next.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Thompson Services of Tallahassee, LLC, has been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 20 years with a variety of services from tire repair, new and used tires, changing of big truck tires, and 24-hour roadside service. Thompson Services of Tallahassee also will detail your car to perfection with wash and wax and a variety of affordable packages to have you riding nice and clean. Thompson Services of Tallahassee is located at 3014 South Adams Street, right across from Planet Fitness. Call for a convenient service appointment at 850-284-5907.
This is Lisa Brady. 17 years ago, I opened Lisa's Paint and Body to provide Tallahassee with an honest repair shop. Thanks to you, our customers, we have outgrown our current location and soon will be moving. Our new location is twice the size, easier access, state-of-the-art equipment, and the newest technology.
ASE and ICAR certified technicians. Personalized attention, guaranteed results. 2820 Mahan Drive. Call 385-2665. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, MV46050.
Hendrick. The Hendrick Summer Sales Event has begun at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC.
Hit the road in the family-friendly 2019 GMC Acadia 3-row SUV, up to $9,000 off MSRP. That's right, up to $9,000 in savings on one of the summer's hottest models. We are professional grade. Come see us on Capitol Circle Northeast under the giant American flag, or visit DaleJr.GMC.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
This morning you were in a rush and accidentally shaved too much. You bushwhacked your facial hair. Kinda looks like you were mauled by a bear. Now in the mirror you see a mutton chop hybrid goatee. It's who you are now. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
And try the $1 grilled breakfast burrito with fluffy eggs and crispy bacon wrapped in a warm tortilla. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for limited time during breakfast hours. Prices may vary. Tax extra.
Seminole Headlines returns now on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Back to the headliner questions as we continue. Tom writes, gentlemen, we all know Vegas doesn't make mistakes. And FSU's over-under win total is sitting at 7.5. You have to bet next month's mortgage check. Which side are you taking? Well,
over.
I'm going to go over, too. I think they'll win 8 games at least.
Over.
Ira's not so sure.
Come on, Ira. Don't be a baby. Come on. Does that include the bowl? Probably. Do the Vegas odds include bowl or just I'm sure
well,
just
you
regular
can look
season
it up.
odds.
It usually specifies as regular season odds.
Here's a funny little story real quick while Ira just sits there and stares at us. So Stephanie got really upset with me because I kept telling her there's no way this baseball team's going to Omaha.
Right, I know.
No way it's going to Omaha.
And then you did.
And it did. So anyway, she got me a birthday present, belated birthday.
Was it a flag?
No,
Okay.
It would have been cool.
Yeah.
I don't have any flags, oddly. I was born on Flag Day. But the present is to go see a comedian that we like on December 7th in Atlanta. And I'm like, and she's like, there's no sports that week, right?
Well, there
I'm like,
definitely could be.
I was like, there's the ACC championship game. And I said, but there is no way this Florida State football team is going to beat Clemson and be in the ACC championship game. But she didn't want to hear it because I said the same thing about the baseball team.
But, Stephanie, I got to tell you, if you're listening, I think this one's more of a sure thing. I really do. I don't think Florida State is going to beat Clemson and go on to the ACC championship game. No.
Because they would have to. They'd have to beat Clemson.
Would,
yeah, I'll go over 8, but I'll go over
7.5.
But I wouldn't. Just 1 month's mortgage. I wouldn't do 2.
Come on, Ira.
You really have no faith, do you?
Come on, man.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, there's 2 games they're not going to win, right? They're not going to win Clemson. They're not going to beat Clemson. I don't think they're winning at Florida.
Did you hear that, Stephanie? They're not beating Clemson.
So now that gives you, in a regular season of 12 games, there's only 2 other games they could lose for them to win that bet. And so, I'm not
we'll
saying
see about Florida, though. We'll see about Florida.
Yeah, by the way, Florida's going to have a harsh coming back to reality sort of season. You're not going to get every time the ball hits the ground fall into your hands. It's not the turnover luck is going to turn.
Yeah. I'm not sold on Florida.
All right, moving forward. Robert
I am
writes,
this team.
All right. I'm kind of curious about. I like some of these are fair, and we need to get to them. And some people are pissed about the hire, and they have legitimate concerns. I don't know. We'll see if this is going to be a good one or not. I didn't pre-read this one.
I was gonna say,
Robert writes, I did read some really good ones, and then I realized I haven't read Robert's, so I don't know. It could be good, could be a nightmare, fellas. Here we go.
Hold on, buckle up.
Robert writes, I know you guys love Florida State hiring Junior. I don't know that we love it. We just think it's a good hire. And for a lot of reasons. But why can't you actually get mad that the FSU athletic department outright lied to fans for this whole time? Were you guys secretly in the know that the job was always going to be bequeathed to Junior? Well, there was no secret, Robert. I've said for over a year that this was a fake coaching search and that Mike Martin Jr. would be the next head coach. The problem is I was wrong.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
So hold on. No, you can't disagree with what I just said.
I disagree with
No, you can disagree that it was a fake coaching search, but you can't disagree that I said that because I can't say that. No. So here's
I agree with Jeff. He did say it multiple times.
Yeah. So I believed all along that this was a faux search for another coach, and that Mike Martin Jr. would be the next head coach. So, Robert, if you listen to this show, you can't be mad at me. I was telling you all along, this isn't a coaching search. Stop worrying about other coaches. There ain't going to be other coaches. It's Junior. Turns out they did an actual coaching search. They actually did interviews with other guys that were qualified and listened to what they had to say, and they decided that the best man for the job was Mike Martin Jr. for a variety of reasons, and I can absolutely understand that. Okay, so then they go from there. The school knew it had neither the funds or desire to conduct any kind of meaningful search for a big-time coach, but let it be known otherwise.
No. I would say this.
No, they
From
didn't.
the very beginning, David Coburn said money would be a factor. It's not.
It has to be.
It's not.
We don't
Florida's
have
not gonna
unlimited
go
funds to hire the next
guy
coach.
at Vanderbilt for $2 million a year.
No.
That's not happening. So there are certain coaches that were off the table. He's right about that, but that's not a fake
And that
search.
was not a fake search, and it was also known that it was part of the search. That they couldn't.
Yeah, they weren't trying to find the best coach in the country.
No.
First
of all, the coach
afford
at Vanderbilt or the coach at where you name your favorite coach, whoever your favorite baseball coach is, they weren't necessarily leaving their job to come to Florida State.
Unless you gave them a Jimbo salary or just doubled their salary or something.
So Florida State's not going to do that. It was never part of it. Then they dropped the news on a Friday afternoon, 2 days after we're eliminated.
By the way, just like, no offense, but 97.9's not going out and trying to hire the biggest name in sports talk radio.
Mad Dog. They're not going to get Mad Dog.
Going to get Mad Dog.
War Chance not going to get whoever.
Who's bigger than me?
No, you're right. That's right.
So by the way,
we did get that guy.
As an aside, let me just say this again. This thought that they lied to the fan base, the alumni, and the supporters of Florida State baseball, I don't think they did. They conducted a search, which I never thought they would. I thought it'd be a search in name only. Turns out I was wrong. They actually did do a search. I always thought Mike Martin Jr. would get the job for two reasons. Money, and that I thought he was the best candidate amongst the pool of coaches they could choose from. Realistic pool of coaches they could choose from. Turns out I'm right. I think most people probably shared that.
Didn't you think it was
sentiment.
interesting that Coburn, when he spoke, admitted how skeptical he was? He said in the press conference, for the people that don't know, he goes, the people that know me, my friends, my wife who's here, they know that I was skeptical about Mike Martin Jr. back in October. And then he said, but watching him throughout the year, especially watching them on this run, but I do think there's truth to that. I don't think that's just trying to placate the fan base. And he was genuinely skeptical and had no inclination that I'm just going to hand the keys to this guy.
No, and that's why the run to the postseason was so important, and not for the reason people would think.
He got to see more of him.
He got to see more of him and spend more time with him. And again, you go back to that topic of the culture and all the other things that go with being a head coach beyond the X's and O's, the important parts of building a team and the chemistry and a positive environment and all those things. Any assistant coach you hired is going to have that same question mark that Mike Martin Jr. has. I mean, you don't know about Mike Martin Jr.'s ability to do all that, but you wouldn't know it with any other assistant or another junior or a junior college coach because the dynamics are different.
Or the head coach at South Alabama.
Can we do this, though? I brought this up the other day. I'll bring it up again. There are no guarantees with any of this stuff.
No.
I mean, Andy Lopez had won a national championship at Pepperdine. The University of Florida hired him based on a championship pedigree and resume. He got to Florida, sucked terribly, got fired, never won a damn thing. Then got a job at Arizona and won the national championship. Okay? Jack Leggett has never won a national championship. The entirety of that coaching staff that coached under him,
they're winning them left and right.
They're winning them left and right, including O'Sullivan at Florida. But he was an assistant coach that had never been a head coach and became the head coach at Florida after Florida failed again by grabbing a coach from Mississippi State with McMahon, who they thought had the success rate that they were looking for, and then failed miserably at the University of Florida, despite having prior head coaching experience in the SEC and having had success there. So you don't know just because a guy has done well elsewhere that he's going to come in and do well at your place. Secondly, you don't know that an assistant coach that's never been a head coach is going to fail. O'Sullivan, Corbin, all these guys were assistant coaches. Leggett's never won a thing. Those guys, his assistants, went on to get jobs and did win a national championship. It's absurd. The kind of complaints that I hear and read.
But it's not even like, it's not. They're just mad that Mike Martin Jr. got the job. It's not like they have a better candidate that Florida State should have hired.
Well, if they do, it's somebody they could not have hired. But it's also somebody they could not have hired. You're not going to pay $2 million for a baseball coach.
No, the
guy from TCU,
of course, is not coming.
He's not coming to Florida State. He allegedly was interested, but okay, I don't know if that is or is not true. What I do know is, even if it were, we're not. He's already making $1.5 million. So the pool of coaches they were choosing from really limits the number of big names, championship pedigree that people want.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
From.
The people that if they're realistic and saying, yeah, obviously you can't get the guy at Louisville, you can't get the guy at Vanderbilt, you can't get Mississippi State's guy or whoever. Here's a guy at a mid-major that I think would be really good. Okay, you think he'd be good,
but you don't know. No,
you just don't know. And so this hire,
well, just like in basketball, Shaka Smart.
Well, how many? There's a million of these examples.
There's a million basketball.
But everybody's flavor of the month.
The people don't know. If you're looking at realistic candidates, and Meat was one, you don't know that he's better or worse than the guy that you wanted. You just don't. You just don't like it because you feel like it was handed to him. The guy was here for 22 years. It was not handed to him.
Well, the other part of that is when people say, look,
but he might be terrible. We'll see.
But when the people, he could fail miserably, or he could succeed at great levels and win a national championship. Yeah. We don't know. But one thing we do know is that he was part of one of the most uber successful baseball programs in the country for a very long time. And that's the other part that bothers me is people go, well, if he's on the staff, he's part of the problem. What problem? The problem of winning 40-plus games every year he coached? What are you talking about?
They went to the World Series 2 of the last 3 years, and the one they didn't, they were a national seed.
Imagine, yeah, exactly. And they've been to 8 College World Series since he's been here. I counted it up. He's been a part of 1,046 wins on the coaching staff. I mean, that's crazy. You could legitimately say there's never been an assistant coach with a resume quite like this. At the same time, I get it because it seems like it was an inevitability that it was always going to happen. Because you had a local radio show host, Ira, that for a year kept calling the search a sham.
I would know.
3 to 6, Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday, just saying, hey, it's going to be me. It's going to be Mike Martin Jr.
Hold on a second. I incorporated a lot of reasons into why I thought Mike Martin Jr.
You just said it was a sham
coach.
because Florida State didn't care about its baseball program.
I didn't say that at all.
Easiest hire.
Never said that.
Easiest hire.
No, I never said that.
Sham like dentistry.
I said now that is a sham. Dentistry's a sham. No, what I said was the combination of qualifications and finances were the reasons that this really was a foregone conclusion. I think I'm right. I mean, the only thing I was wrong about was that they actually did interview other people. I thought for a while that maybe in name only they were going to interview other people. But they did interview other people, so it wasn't a sham. And if somebody had come in there and blown them away and had ideas that they hadn't considered that would both make financial sense and perhaps, strategic sense in a way that goes above and beyond the already really successful baseball program they have, then maybe they would have made a different hire, but
they didn't.
All right. Seminole Headlines, 97.9 ESPN Radio continues in a moment.
Seminole Headlines will take a breather. More next.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee has officially become a Nissan town. The Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our new For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents And Doug.
Limu, there's a woman threatening to sign up for generic car insurance. Grab your birdseed and let's go.
I'm going to sign these papers right here, right now.
Ma'am, drop the pen. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Thanks, Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Don't thank us, thank Liberty Mutual. But also thank us.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Seminole Headlines returns now on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
This is what happens in the summer, guys. We just get yelling and screaming.
At least we got
cursed up, all kinds
to
of
talk
stuff.
about.
Yeah. Jonathan writes, over under 2,500 all-purpose yards for Cam and Terry combined. Now, Corey thinks Torian Terry is the best receiver to ever play college football. So I'm going to guess you have to go over here if you think Cam even just runs for, like, say, 200 yards.
Terry's going to have 2,300
right, well, I mean,
yards.
right?
Yeah, probably 200 a game.
Something like that. Yeah.
I would say – so what they have – they probably had 1,700 this past year. I mean, 2,500 is a lot. But I'm going to say over. I think Kendall Browns is going to get it rolling a little bit.
If Cam rushes for 1,000 and catches 400, so your boy's got to come up. Can he come up with 1,000
He can get to us 1,100. He can get 1,100 in his sleep. Yeah. As long as he's healthy, he can get 1,100.
Well, he's going to average 17, 18 yards a catch.
Yep. So, probably have 14 touchdowns, I'd say, 13 or 14 touchdowns. 2,500 is still going to be – I mean, I don't know how many times in Florida State history a running back receiver have combined for that. That's going to be difficult. But I'll still say over because it's Tamorian Terry's involved.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It was a long-winded. Yeah, I was waiting. Come on.
I was doing the math in my head.
Yeah. Philip writes, hey, gang, important question time. Do you think professional bongo players have a favorite side to play on? What about you all? If you had to choose, would you prefer the sweet sound of the left side bongo or the smooth tone of the right side bongo? Which would you go for?
I feel like the left bongo is where you keep the beat, right? And the right bongo is where you kind of... Like the left is the constant.
Really freelance a little
bit.
bit.
The left is
the
constant, and the right one is you can do a little different.
It depends on which handedness you are, maybe.
I feel like most bongo players are right-handed. In fact,
I
know that.
Jimmy
I read
flipped
that.
it. I mean, so maybe.
I like how they can do
true.
where they hit it with their fingers and then also with their palm. They kind of do the doozy-doo.
Yeah, the
doozy-doo, yeah.
I like
Ira was a music major.
That's the official musical term.
Doozy-doo, yeah. Oh, man, his doozy-doo.
He's the best bongo player in the world.
My God, look at the doozy-doo. Michael writes, boys, the days are inching closer and closer to the start of the season. I know I'm not the only one with the same burning question. Who will replace Fiondu Kabengele? Well, nobody.
Oh, well.
But we do have some 7-footers.
Yeah. In fact, I've seen them. Brady's at that camp, and they are all over the place.
Well, you can't miss 7-footers.
They are all over the place. They're big dudes,
There's not like 100 of them. There's 7-footers.
It feels like, but there's more. That's
a lot of
7-footers. Because they got the kid from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And then they got the two
freshmen.
The two freshmen. And then the Malik Osborne kid is enormous. By the way, MJ Walker is Brady's counselor, and his team is stacked. Brady, I think MJ somehow got the 3 or 4 best campers and the best players in the whole camp, and they're on the same team. So Brady is one of the
fun for the other kids.
Brady's one of the one of the walk-ons, essentially. He's on. I watched him play a game yesterday where he started watching on the sidelines. There's 7 kids on the team, and they were up 15-0 before Brady got in the game. And Brady's celebrating because Brady. He's celebrating as if he's doing it too. Oh yeah, and they're doing the 3-point goggles and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You should get him a Linder jersey.
No, I feel like he's got a role on some basketball team.
Making Cornbread Maxwell waving
just doing the towels.
Just doing the towels, baby, over and over again. That's good stuff. Maxwell writes, how does Meat recruit better pitchers to the program now that it's officially his program? Well, that's an interesting question given how well they pitched in the postseason. But, yeah, they have not been on par with Florida and some of the other elite programs.
What he said when I was talking to him for that story a couple months ago was that what Florida had is they had those scouts. It's not just the evaluating. It's that those scouts are so known in those circles that they get the first call about a kid that's a freshman or a sophomore.
A heads up.
Hey, man, this kid at this high school is going to be really good. You need to come watch them. And that's what, a lot about recruiting.
You
is
get in on somebody
and you get in on them early. And then hope they're not too good where they won't come to school.
And, and again, Mike Martin
Which apparently
Sr.,
at Florida, by the way, you can throw 98 and you're not too good to go to school.
Yeah.
And Mike Martin Sr., this is not a problem. It was not the reason they struggled in certain areas. And certainly, as we said, the program has not been struggling. But Mike Martin Sr.'s relationships with the scouts has not always been great. So it's a difficult situation when your program's getting rated by these pro scouts, so you don't always want to feel like they're your best friends. But if you don't have those relationships, it can hurt. And so, I think he's definitely going to go that route. I'd be really surprised if he doesn't.
I also think it's important to note, and we need to bring this up. I think one of the reasons we all three are fine with Mike Martin Jr. getting the job isn't just because we know he knows baseball and he's done a good job while on the staff. It's that we also know what hasn't been going on here. And that guy has almost single-handedly kept the program afloat because his dad wasn't hitting the road recruiting. He was going to see nobody. So they were outmanned on the recruiting trail. And Junior was having to do all of that. And the fact that they continue to win that many games and be competitive is a testament to that hard work. I don't think everybody realizes that, when you're trying to win games with one arm tied behind your back, how difficult that can be. There are other aspects of that, too, by the way, that things that weren't happening here as you had an aging legend of a coach. It's just a young man's game. It's very difficult.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even a matter of, say, oh, you're not doing your job. It's the byproduct of having a coach at that age in this sport. Mm-hmm. When Bobby Bowden was getting close to 80 years old, into his 70s, the head coach doesn't have to be on the road 365. They're not allowed to be on the road.
That's right.
And they get a short window of time to go fly in, have dinner, seal the deal. Baseball is different. Kevin O'Sullivan's on the road all the time. Those guys are busting their butts, and you had a coach at that age who's not really health-wise probably couldn't do that. It's a young man's game.
It's a young man's game. It's really difficult. I mean, that is the problem with being, having a coach in his 70s. All right. David writes.
Well, real quick, but I did like, again, that Mike Martin Jr. brought that stuff up. He brought it up. The fact that we're going to recruit early. I mean, that's the criticism of what they've been seen as a staff that isn't known as hustling or being ahead of the curve and proactive in recruiting as a whole. And I think the fact that he brought that up, I think, again, it's a positive that he is recognizing the issue they have and saying, hey, look, we know. I'm not coming in saying we're fine.
Yeah, I'm not blind to these things. That's the fear everybody had, was that stuff was going to remain status quo, and it's just simply not.
Yeah.
David writes, what do you predict your reactions would be on September the 1st with each of these four scenarios? 1, FSU wins by 25 or more. 2, FSU wins by 7 or less. 3, FSU loses by 7 or less. And 4, FSU loses by 25 or more. Thanks for the great show, you guys. Can we start and go backwards? All right, FSU loses by 25 or more. I'll come on the show Monday and ask for him to be fired.
You'll play funeral bagpipe music.
I can do the bagpipe music and do the scenario because I do think that's the beginning of the end. I would think that, yes.
Corey and I think, would argue about who got to write the column. Sometimes we argue about who has to write the column. That day we'd be like.
I feel like we could, it could be a double byline. Yeah. Now, Corey, you go. Corey, you share some thoughts.
Irrevocably ruined. What would you say? I mean, honestly, that is, first of all, that's not going to happen. But if it did, I don't think he would be able to recover from that. I don't think there would ever be a time he could recover.
I think my lead would be, you got to be me. Is that okay?
Man, you guys.
Man, we are tearing it up today. I got to mark this down now to get this edited. This one was Ira, guys.
Yeah,
the other two
Ira.
were me.
Yep.
This one's Ira. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think I'd cover another game.
Let's assume that's not going to happen. So next one, losing by less than 7, you're just kind of like, man, this guy, this poor guy.
I like some things I saw. What if they lose 6-0? The defense. Arlen Barnett has turned the defense around.
Freaking Jimbo.
Linebackers are playing great.
I got to give you credit. That was quick. It was well done. Yeah. Okay. If they lose by 7 or less, I think it depends how the game was played. I mean, if you lose 38-30, 38-34 or something in a wild one, but you're like, boy, Barnett's in trouble.
Yeah.
But hey, Kendall Browse has turned it around.
That's right. Yeah, that would be different. All right, so FSU wins by 7 or less. Good to get a win.
All right.
Good to get a win.
Yep.
All right.
Big
It's a win column. We got some things to work on, but we got to win.
Wasn't everything you wanted?
No.
But there's
slightly disappointed, but I'll take that win.
Good starting point.
I'll take that win. And then finally, the last was win by 25 or more.
Suck it, Jimbo.
You all.
Suck it, Jimbo.
I tried to tell all of you. This is where we're going. Championship.
Get on the Taggart train.
Yeah, baby. Damn,
going to class and
Thomas
Boise.
Look at this. This is what we do. Once we got that scum that Jimbo recruited out of here, we were ready to roll, baby. So there you go. Nick writes, what was left in worse shape? The football program after Jimbo left or Chernobyl?
By the way, neither one of y'all watched that, right?
Kim is watching it now.
It's good. It's really good. Y'all should watch it. It's weird that they all have British accents.
Yeah. Bothers me a little bit. I watched 5 minutes of it and saw that and went, what are we doing here? And I struggled a little bit. Okay. Cristobal writes, gentlemen, can you please stop saying dongs in place of dingers and stop using that's just baseball in your analysis? No, Cristobal.
We can't.
I'm going to always use dongs instead of dingers.
Dongs.
That's just baseball. It's commonly used by people in baseball. So I'm going to continue to use it as well. Brandon writes.
But thanks for your question.
Yeah. Brandon writes, fellas, has it ever occurred to you
It was a question. He did ask us if we could stop. It wasn't a request. It was just a question. We answered it.
Brandon writes, fellas, has it ever occurred to you that Jeff Bowden might make one heck of a hitting coach on Meat's staff?
No.
Oh, man. Brandon wanted to know. He also incorporated the monkeys riding camels in Meat's press conference. He said that would have been cool for seventh inning stretch time.
That's not a bad idea. He needs to do something involve the fans a little more. Give them something to watch in between innings. By the way, do you think he's going to do thank you to Beef O'Brady's, thank you for Orsillo Ike, like that stuff? Do you think Meat is going to?
Well, you might have to, right? I mean, I don't know.
It'd just be weird to see him doing that. I mean, I'm sure he will. They can still get 11 to do that.
I'm literally interviewing him in 25 minutes.
Please ask him.
I'm going to ask him that very question.
Yeah.
So that will be fun to do. We'll come back, wrap it up momentarily. Seminole Headlines.
Seminole Headlines will take a breather. More next.
Lane's Medical Shop has all of your home medical needs. They carry home oxygen, hospital beds, nebulizers, walkers, wheelchairs, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and all sleep apnea supplies. Lane's also has a weight loss clinic in-house, no appointment necessary, including B12 injections and any prescriptions necessary with the lowest prices around, and delivers to Tallahassee in South Georgia. Located only 40 miles from Tallahassee, go see Blake today, 210 West Main Street, Colquitt, Georgia, 229-758-9111.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning, keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Deciding whether or not to fix something that has worked well for a long time can be a tough choice. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we'll help you decide on whether to repair your existing system or consider new energy-efficient options. Book your repair or service appointment online in under a minute at baranoac.com.
Now you can quickly and easily schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. This summer, turn to the experts at Carrier. Learn more about great rebates and 0% financing for up to 60 months online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barry heating and air conditioning.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one Aurora wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Pickens Tree Service has over 25 years of experience in cutting down trees and removing stumps in the Tallahassee area. While you may appreciate the beauty of foliage on your property, certain trees may pose a health risk to the owners. Pickens Tree Service will help you identify these potential issues and take preventative measures to remove the risk along with the tree. Just give them a call for a free estimate at 850-590-1833. That's 850-590-1833. Pickens Tree Service, Tallahassee, Thomasville, Quincy, Crawfordville, and surrounding areas.
Seminole Headlines returns now on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
All right, here we go. Bauer sauce. Would you rather always be sweating or every 20-second new person you meet, you have to stick their big toe in your mouth for 1 second? They know the deal, so time is not a concern.
It's not a question.
Yeah.
Sweating.
So they're sticking their big toe in our mouths.
For 1 second.
Every
Or
22nd person you meet.
Every 22nd person. So you get a respite. Now, you would dread it. Like, if you went to bed that night and you were on 21, you'd be like, damn it, I can't meet anybody tomorrow.
But if you go to a football game, you're
sucking toes the whole time.
300 toes in your mouth?
You just don't look at people. But during the week, you're not
you don't have to meet
people.
everybody.
And you can order in. They get Uber Eats now. You don't
Does
have to
that
go
count
out.
as a meeting, though, when the person drops it off?
Yeah, that's one, but that's only one. You know, if you stay inside all day.
We live in Florida.
But look,
we're sweaty all the time anyway. It's fine.
I was going to say, there's no way I'm
no
putting
question.
people's toes in my mouth.
You could up it to every 45th.
It's definitely not the big toe.
The little toe, you'd be all right with
Pinky
the little
toe is
toe.
a little different.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
big
pinky
toe.
toe. Yeah, I don't know about a pinky toe. Wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, no, big toe. I just no.
Some people have nasty feet, though.
I know. That's the problem. That's the
yeah.
question.
But you might come across some, some people
You'd be all right.
you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Like secret fantasies. You're like, oh, all right. Nice to meet you.
Still
Take off your shoe.
You're number 22. You're number 22. Lucky day.
It's number 4.
Like in Blazing Saddles. No. Yes, you're 22.
You're 22. Ryan writes, Corey, how quiet was that van ride back when you missed your girlfriend's high five? Any other faux pas with the girlfriend in front of Brady this week?
I did not miss the high five. The high five was designed for Brady. The people that don't know,
that angle
it looks like I'm ignoring her
completely.
You can't see Brady like
one of the things you
us.
are doing is ignoring the baseball game. You're just looking at your phone.
I was updating the
why
thread
were you
on
looking at your
WarChant.
phone, man?
How awesome would it have been if you'd have seen me just like, woo!
Yeah,
what a perfect song, like doing a fist bump and high
you're wearing a
fiving people
blue
behind.
shirt, staring at your phone. I'm like,
I
what
was
are we
working
doing
the game.
here?
I was working the game. I was just hanging out with my son in the crowd for a few minutes because they had seats next to him open. But I did not miss her high five. But they had Brady and her got a very big kick that they were on TV.
Okay, Corey writes, Jeff mentioned that he's getting ready to watch. Now, hold on. There's some context here. I got to make sure I give you this because I know you weren't listening to the Jeff Cameron Show yesterday. Jeff mentioned that he's getting ready to watch all of the Marvel movies. Ira and Corey, what would it take to get you to watch them? All right, before you answer, let me explain. I don't want to watch the Marvel movies. I hate how we cater to the child mind and make these movies every other week. It's ridiculous. And these are dumb movies. But that said, my kids were having an advanced conversation about, is it Thanos? What happens when he snaps his fingers and how it affects the other characters in the Marvel world in the other movies. And so then I said, well, so you can't watch these movies in the order they came out, but rather by the year they're set in to have it, so we were talking about chronological and how would you watch these movies? Well, then that opened the door to, well, let's look it up. So online, of course, Marvel geeks everywhere have a ton of lists of what you should watch first and why and what the proper order is based on the years that those movies are allegedly taking place in and all of that. So I found out there were, I guess, 23. And then my kids said, Dad, will you watch them with us? What the hell am I supposed to do?
No.
I mean, well,
that's a nice summer.
Yeah, so it is the dead of summer, and it's not like in a row. I don't have to watch like 6 in a night and do it. No, I can do one here on a Saturday evening, one on, So over the weekend, we watched Indiana Jones. We watched the first 3, I think there are 4. We watched Indiana Jones.
That's not a Marvel movie?
No, it's not. No, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just an
it's
aside.
just weird that you brought it up.
What about after every 21st Marvel movie, you have to put somebody's toe in your mouth?
Oh, Jesus. So, there'll be 15 more that come out this summer, I'm sure. So what I did was I had a moment of weakness. I was like, okay, kids, if you like your dad to sit in there and watch these stupid-ass Thor movies, I will. And,
Thor ragging a nuke.
I'm sure it's going to suck. There are, all the geeks are going to get mad at me. I got it. There are probably 4 or 5 really good ones. I'm sure there are.
I'm not a big Marvel guy, but I have seen a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I've already seen.
Seen Iron Man, the first one.
Yeah, I've seen 2 Iron Mans, and I've seen. What was the one? Was it Avengers?
Guardians of the Galaxy?
I love good. That's really good. That's legitimately good. Yeah. I heard the second one sucks. Now I got to watch that one.
The second one doesn't suck.
Are you doing like a vampire thing with your hands? What are you doing with your hands? Like a Dracula?
No. I was trying to tell. We should be playing charades. I was trying to explain what was the one that came out a few summers ago that has all the guys in it. It's got Captain America and Iron Man and all these people, and they were fighting.
The Avengers?
The Avengers. I think I saw the
Back
Avengers.
to the Future.
Yeah, no, the Avengers. I saw the Avengers
3, the one in the Old West.
Yeah, so I saw the Avengers.
Okay. Well, then the last one, The Age of something, maybe. I can't remember. They're all called the Avengers, but with their taglines.
Yeah.
The last one, the Endgame. Is it really going to be the end game?
It's like 3 hours.
No, it is 3 hours.
It's the end game for some of them, I think. But
yeah.
So
I can tell you. I can tell you who if you want to know.
No, I don't want to know.
All right.
So I'm going to do this now, and I went and saw the order, and it's kind of an interesting order. But please tell me that there's no Aquaman in this. That's not Marvel, is it?
Ain't nobody out here talking to fish. We ain't got time for that.
I'm not watching Aquaman. It looked like the dumbest movie ever made.
I don't think he's part of that.
Is he not part of that? I don't know. I have no idea.
He might be the other one.
We get Corey family time a lot. Here's a quick Ira family time story. So when we were on vacation, did I tell you guys the thing where the girls went up on the rocks and they got stuck?
Yeah, you told me that.
You didn't tell it. No, you haven't told it on the air.
So we went to we were down in the Keys. We went to Key West. There's a state park.
Saw the pictures. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the state park it's really nice, and about 40 yards, 50 yards outside of off the beach. There's like this rock. There's this like pile of rocks where you can go out and stand on, I guess. Well, anyway, so my kids really wanted to go swim out to it, and we kind of kept telling them, no, it's too deep, too far. And then finally I saw some other kids go out there, so I was like, yeah, you guys go ahead and go, because they're good swimmers. So they go out to the rocks, and they swim out there, they get on the rocks, and they're all just kind of like moving around really slowly on the rocks, but we can't tell why. Like Kim and I are on the beach, and and Kim's trying to get pictures of them. So she's like, "Guys, scoot together. We're trying to. Why won't they get together for a picture? Like, why aren't they?
They're being ravaged.
They're being difficult." No, they 2 of them had cut up their legs getting on the rocks.
You're damn right,
pretty badly.
Yeah,
and so
there are little critters that live on those rocks, and they cut you up.
So Kim Kim finally she looks through the lens of the camera and she goes, "Oh, they're crying." So now
snap off the pictures.
That is fantastic. Hit zoom and take those suckers.
So I'm like, I've got to go get them. So I jump in the water and swim out to get them. And man, I was like, the father hero like in my mind. But then about 30 yards in, I'm like, ooh, this is tiring swimming out to the ocean.
Can y'all meet me halfway?
Guys, swim your bloody legs into the water and come towards your dad.
I'm here. As I'm struggling the last 10 yards or whatever, I'm thinking to myself, what are they thinking as they're watching?
He's slowing down. He's slowing down.
That's not the athlete he once was.
And they're probably saying, is he coming to save us? What's he doing?
Are we going to have to save Dad? Is what they're thinking. Dad's drowning. Jump in.
Yeah.
So after I get there and I catch my breath, finally I'm sitting there and I'm like, calming one of them down and, everything. And then I go, it's like, so Dad, look, were you thinking Aquaman? Is that what you?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
no,
awesome. No.
Final one. David's been a really good listener, a long time listener for a long time. So a long time listener for a long time. That was redundant.
Sure.
And so he doesn't agree with us on the Martin Hierony. I'm going to answer his question. I don't want you to think we're ducking you, David. Why won't any of you just admit that this is a BS hire with Junior? They threw up that smokescreen about other coaches, knowing they weren't going to let anyone else come in here. He has zero head coaching experience, and these have been teams that he has helped put together for the last 22 years. So that tells me...
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
no,
hold on. I'm going to answer the question. So that tells me and a lot of other people that he's part of the problem. What problem? The problem of winning 40-plus games for the last 22 years? The problem of going back to Omaha and being one of the last 6 teams standing? What is the problem?
Well, I think that's the disconnect with some people is if you've gone this long without winning a national championship, it's been a failure.
Everything else you've ever done, like winning the conference championships, winning regionals, super regionals, these are failures.
Yeah, because you didn't win the final game, and that's just not how you look at. That's not how you look at sports in general.
First of all, that's not how you look at baseball at all.
But it's certainly not how you look at sports.
If they weren't getting to the postseason every year, David, we'd have a problem. Like, for example, Texas didn't this year. They've got a lot of national championships. They didn't make it. Lots of teams didn't make it. You know who didn't go as far as Florida State this year? Florida, the team that routinely beats Florida State. You know who else didn't? Miami. We can go on and on
Georgia.
and on. Georgia, who was the number 4 national seed. The number 1 national seed, UCLA, who didn't lose a series this year. Didn't make it to Omaha. You can't.
These aren't failures. There's just it's not a failure. You have to I don't know, skew your perception of what sports is. If you're always good, which Florida State always is,
always.
Like,
so you can't.
You don't luck
classify
into 40
this
wins
as part of the problem.
And you can say, well, they fail once they get to Omaha. Well, getting to Omaha in itself is hard to do. Now, you hope that they can change some things when they get to Omaha, mainly luck, or mainly being able to hit a ball. That's what you hope changes.
Yeah, they've had years where they've gone out and hit and didn't pitch.
It didn't matter. Yeah, by and large, it's a very it's been an incredibly successful program for 4 decades.
And the reality, and I was talking to a Florida fan last week. When O'Sullivan, the first, was it 3? How many times did they go out there?
He went out there and failed miserably.
Yeah,
and they had a loaded team one of those years. They choked.
Florida State was out there, and they got bounced. They got, shocked by, I don't know, Sam Houston State or something.
And they got bounced by the Noles.
And then Florida State knocked them out. And he was like, yeah, man, people were done with him. Like, going into the year they won the national title, and that was the team, that was probably his worst team overall that won the national title.
And they had also had a runner-up finish. They had already been to the championship round and lost to Texas, wasn't it?
South Carolina.
But they had been there. I mean,
you just give yourself enough chances. Theoretically, you should win a few.
And let's not act like he hasn't made it to the championship game. Martin did. They didn't win it.
And they also didn't.
And back
have
then, the system was
format.
It was a one-off. They lost a game by a run one of those games against Miami, and they got screwed. I mean, it's what?
It's been a sustained success for 4 decades. To call it a failure means you only care about what happens the final game of the season.
No, look, I want to win a championship.
Everybody
it does suck
does.
when you don't, but everybody does want to win one. And
certainly you could say they failed once they got to Omaha, but you can't call the last 40 years a failure.
If you're one of the last 8 teams standing in college baseball as consistently as this one has been, you are anything but a failure.
Yeah, you want to try to keep it going with maybe a little more luck in Omaha.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
And it's not just more luck. I mean, he is planning to change some things. We'll see if it works.
Yeah.
They might not work.
But could burn down the stadium.
All right, boys.
Burn down the stadium. We don't have to watch any more of the 2-1 games.
I'm not going to see you next week.
Why not?
I'm just going to take some time off, do whatever the hell I want.
I'll be up in Atlanta anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Busy watching Marvel movies.
Yeah, you got a lot of movie watching.
I'm hoping they forget about that. It was such a heartfelt request. They probably won't, but I'm not going to remind them.
23 a movie.
We got all
23
summer.
movies.
Got all
That's
summer.
how many they made.
Yeah.
It's like 2 a year now, right? 2 or 3 a year.
It seems like every other week there's another damn Marvel movie. They've made 400 of these things. They're ridiculous.
You know what? Some of them are good. What you're going to really like is there's going to be a lot of battles in cities with buildings blowing up.
The 5th battle, I'm going to go, okay. All right, I got it.
Yeah. Who's going to win?
That guy's bad. They're good. They fly around. All right. For Corey and I'm Jeff. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be well.
Seminole Headlines will take a breather. More next.
I know you know this, and you probably have already suggested it, and maybe she's already had it. But, Tom, I'm bringing your girlfriend into the fold to talk about Bumpa's Local 3.0.
Don't you bring her in here.
I'm telling you now that she would love the ahi salad.
Oh, yes.
Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
that was
delicious.
That was the first thing she ever tried, and now anytime we are in the neighborhood, which is, a capital circle right between I-10 and Centerville.
You're giving the people the location for Bumpa's Local 349. Mm-hmm. Perfect. I like it.
Yes.
They have delicious food. I like tacos. You can't screw up tacos, but they do really good tacos.
I am a big fan of the Uncle Sal because the Uncle Sal is sausage, peppers, and onions. You can't go wrong with that trio, man.
You like the peppers and onions more than I do.
It must be like a New York thing. I don't know. Everybody's a little bit Italian because they're coming from New York, because the peppers and onions isn't exactly Irish
I like
cuisine.
It when they're cooked up like that.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
like
hard to beat. A little mustard? Yeah.
I'm forever going to champion the wings and the Cobb salad. It's Bumpa's Local 349. They got live music. They've got a number of televisions and, of course, tasty beverages, man. Good stuff.
Hendrick.
We're celebrating the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC with huge savings on the hottest models, like the 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. Over 71 to choose from, just in time for summer. We are professional grade. Come see us on Capitol Circle Northeast under the giant American flag, or visit DaleJuniorGMC.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial. Plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
I would say I'm positive Coach